We waking up, people! Look at this. The CIA just released a document on the black web. We are rising. Look at her running on water. Don't that look like a certain story? Look at that. Oh, they trying to catch you. Can't catch.
EDG let one of the handlers do witchcraft on him in his house.
So okay. Even though your ears are plugged. No!
So the song played
Even
back
though
in
your
his
ears are
brain.
no,
Nobody knows what's happening.
Did you just hear something in your head? Did you just hear in your head?
Nah, bro. I'm geeking was playing in my.
He's trying to let us know.
Find they unearthed out of Mexico. They've been finding some pretty unique things lately. Maybe this is where they get these ideas from. So as you see, this thing actually lights up and we don't know the source from it. This is at least 4,000 years.
Doing. If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
About money today. There was a man who sued his employer for racial discrimination. After he won this lawsuit, he took the check to the bank, but the bank did not believe that the check was real. The bank called the cops on this man, and he ended up winning a second racial discrimination lawsuit. Robin Williams left his entire net worth to his 3 children, but they were not able to access it until 1, they turned 25, 2, they finished college, and 3, they work at least 1 year making less than $30,000 a year at a real job. The clause in his will actually read, "I don't want my children to know wealth before they know struggle. Money I earned easy, respect they must earn hard." His daughter Zelda worked at a coffee shop for a year, made $25,000, and then finally got her inheritance. She posted on social media in 2024 saying, "Dad made me wait 10 years. Best thing he ever did. I know who I am now. The money didn't define me." Literally half of all Nobel winners have a father who is among the richest 5% in their birth country.
The elite have hidden tunnels everywhere, and this man proves it.
Oh, me and DJ just be exploring, right? Why we just find a secret tunnel next to, like, the White House, bro? What is that?
Washington, D.C. A hidden tunnel.
It is?
They saw too much, y'all.
They probably got an alarm going off right now that it's open.
Stay with me.
Yeah, let's go on the other side.
Check it out,
Makes
family.
sense.
A farmer in Mexico allegedly claims he caught a gnome. I know that don't look like a good picture. I got y'all. Trust me. I got a picture for y'all that's more close up so y'all can really get y'all observation on. But on Funnel Grade 2026 already starting off with a bang. I got y'all, family. Next photo. Here you go, family. Next photo. Yeah, look at that. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all think this shit cap or not. But allegedly, a farmer caught a gnome and he took a picture. I have to show y'all, man. A lot of shit is kicking off in 2026. Like, we just got in this year, and there's a lot of shit already happening and time going like that. But anyway, on Funnel Grade, shit is crazy.
We waking up, people! Look at this. The CIA just released a document on the black web. We are rising. Look at her running on water. Don't that look like a certain story? Look at that. Oh, they trying to catch you. Can't catch her.
She
EDG
gone.
let one of the handlers do witchcraft on him in his house. In that Capaholic's house.
Wait a minute.
So
Okay. Even though your ears are plugged. No!
So the song played
Even
back
though
in
your
his
ears
brain.
are
Nobody knows what's happening.
Did you just hear something in your head? You were thinking about a song, right? What did you just hear in your head?
Nah, bro. I'm geeking was playing in my.
He's trying to let us know. I don't got nothing to do with what just happened.
No, you're not getting it though.
But he basically just put a Neuralink chip in his brain and did some shit to where he can play the song in his head. Some type of witchcraft, right? They're using light, dark magic against you. You be a fool not to get your spiritual defenses up in these times. But I always like reacting to him and Kai and all them because they just loosely get their energy played with. And they don't be even realizing shit happened 2-3 months down the line. They be like, oh, damn. Yeah, bro. They setting your ass up on that altar.
That the Epstein files It continues. It's even worse. I just spent hours listening to another testimony. And when the testimony came out just in the last few days, that's when they pump up the Minnesota. Pump up the Minnesota, beat a few more people up, kill a few more people. Get everybody to look over there. Don't look. And again, I'm not talking about just trafficking. I'm talking about outrageous snuff films, murdering young, I would say children, youth. They're supposed to be graveyards filled with missing kids, and no one knew who they were. I know I sound like a crazy person, I know, but it's not. There is a testimony, Sasha Riley. I ask people to go and investigate and listen to it yourself. There are some issues.
Y'all, what if what we thought were aliens visiting us was really us, but in the future? I know, crazy, right? But just listen. I've noticed that a lot of these drawings look very similar to human features, especially if we compare it to an astronaut. So who's to say this isn't us from the future visiting us from the past to make sure certain things don't happen? And let's not forget about those CIA documents that told us that present, past, and future all happen at the same time. Not to mention any scientific evidence that says that what you're doing right now can change your past. Now look, that could. What if places like Tartaria exist but haven't been discovered yet and will be in the future? I mean, just take a look at all of the technology that we have today on ancient artifacts. Come on now. And what if places like cathedrals are actually where they do time traveling at? Think about it. Most cathedrals have sacred geometry all through them. And what is sacred geometry? The language of the universe. That's how you speak to the universe. How you get things done, including time travel. I mean, ain't really that far-fetched, is it? And what if they put it in a movie to give us a hint, but we just didn't take it? I mean, we see the building and the steeple, and look upside, there is the light beam. Going back to the future. Oh, and this video was purely for entertainment purposes. But make sure to like and comment and let me know your thoughts. This is amazing.
I think we the aliens, bro. She was spitting, man. When she brought up that Back to the Future reference, bro. Don't fry me, man. I watched the first one, but I haven't watched, I think, didn't they have like a second or third one? I watched the first one, but that's it. I'll have to watch that, man. Are we the aliens?
Storm. This is a bit of a whopper, especially as we go into the weekend. Texas has already activated a state of emergency in response to this. We also have the hurricane hunters that are flying into this to get some new data as well. So look how massive this storm is. We have all eyes on this. We're looking at not only snow being a big issue there in the blue, but ice being the even bigger issue for more than 25 states as we head into the end of the week. Time frame here is going to be Friday into Monday. So you have plans this weekend, you need to listen up. This is going to be one worth watching.
We hope that people are taking this opportunity through the middle part of the week to prepare and get those emergency kits ready for their homes and their vehicles. If you have a generator for your home, make sure that that's ready to go.
We have all eyes on this. This is going to be a big storm.
And also something to keep in mind, you know how people look at the pizza orders over in Washington to know if something crazy is about to go down in the world? Well, I look at the NOAA slider because anytime it goes down, something's about to happen. We'll see how that's behaving as the storm gets closer, but keep an eye on this storm. Take it a bit seriously because there's a chance it could just be a Frankenstorm.
These storms, bro, that's happening in 2026, man, it's insane, man. This polar vortex storm, bro, that's about to hit. I'm in the area where I think it's gonna hit, so I'm gonna think of it with you guys, man, so I can keep you guys updated, man, when I be uploading my videos to tell you how bad it really is, bro. Man, who got the weather machines going, bro?
That made the Dr. Pepper song finally had her song played in a commercial. So this girl Romeo, she made a viral jingle for Dr. Pepper. She made this video where in the video she sings this jingle for Dr. Pepper, and she wanted it to be the new Dr. Pepper theme song. And so first, this is what it originally sounded like.
Dr. Pepper, baby, is good and nice.
And this is where it gets even more insaner. The video right now on her page has 35 billion views. And Dr. Pepper even commented on her video saying, "Hold on, you might be onto something." Then about 6 or 7 days later, they commented again saying that she should check her DMs. But this is where it gets more worse. We didn't hear anything from Dr. Pepper or Romeo for the next 2 weeks. And everybody thought that something went wrong and that Dr. Pepper didn't want the song anymore. But this is where it gets so much more betterer. During the college national championship football game, Dr. Pepper unveiled a brand new commercial where they used Romeo's song.
If you don't know the site Alien Carvings, you should check them out. They did it again. Take a look at this find they unearthed out of Mexico. They've been finding some pretty unique things lately. This is some type of attaches to the arm, and it's an electronic light source. That
looked like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual stack joint, bro. Where they fighting, man, with those cards, bro. Tell me, I can't be the only one thinking that.
Almost looks like it belongs to an old superhero like Thor. Who knows? Maybe this is where they get these ideas from. So as you see, this thing actually lights up, and we don't know the source from it. This is at least 4,000 years old. This group has unearthed enough artifacts to prove that we're missing some history, that there was a long history before us that we're unaware of. What do you think about this? Leave your thoughts in the comments. This is Unanswered Universe.
They are saying this might be the coldest air that our region has felt in years. Made a video probably like a month ago when we had a Arctic blast. But now they saying this one is worse than the last one. And the part that really got my attention is what's coming after this. Meteorologists are saying the coldest air mass on Earth is about to center around Ontario. Said the temperatures is going to drop as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius, y'all.
Damn.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but where I'm from in the DMV, a couple weeks ago, I swear food was warm as hell. Now we about to feel that cold air coming from up there too. He said this the type of cold that only be in Siberia. So just imagine. The wild part about this is that forecasters are saying this might only be round one, y'all. They said the following week, it's gonna be a second round of this shit. I'm praying for the people that's outside, fool. Cause that's the type of cold that's gonna make your ass frozen. Sitting there stiff. I know the weather is messed up when you see Florida getting snow twice within like 2 months. That's crazy, fool. So my question is, are y'all ready for this? Cause as you can see, all of this is about to get hit. Are y'all finna be walking around in sweaters like it's goddamn fall or something? Let me know down below in the comments.
If you drank an ungodly amount of milk, would you get super buff because of the protein? Well, milk is actually full of sugar, which will make you fat in large quantities. And this is why it's given to calves and babies, to literally fatten them up. But if you pass the milk through a collection of special...
Have you seen the Ray-Ban Metaverse commercial Doja Cat just did? She has to be the most wickedest person I have ever seen in my entire life. Between her and Megan Thee Stallion, I truly don't know who's worse. Now I'm about to reveal the video to you, just give me a moment. But if you're a part of Holly World, you have to understand that all of them, all worship the God of this world. There's no question about it. There's signs everywhere. If you idolize and worship these people, I question your entire existence. This is the all-seeing-eye symbolism that you see heavily being promoted in society. It ultimately leads back to Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub. You can find this exact symbol on a $1 bill. Just look for yourself. It's right in front of your faces. It resembles the Egyptian gods, Ra and Horus. Egypt is a place of captivity. Your modern-day Babylon and Egypt today is America. America is Babylon today. You can find hundreds of pictures, and I'm not even kidding, of your entertainers doing these exact symbols and demonic gestures.
Really?
Every last one have done it. You gotta watch what you're watching. Y'all see the all-seeing-eye symbol on her wrist? Y'all see that, right? She lets you know who she pledged her allegiance to. They took a blood oath. All of them do. You need to understand and understand this. These are puppets, puppeteers. They get controlled by their masters, meaning they have handlers around them 24/7, telling them what to do, how to do it, when to do it. They just don't get these tattoos on them for no reason. Symbols are a form of communication. It's very, very powerful if you understand what the symbols are communicating. To break free from this simulation in this matrix is to understand the symbols. The elites, the one that's control the world, they can promote one symbol and know exactly what agenda they need to push next. Please understand that. Symbols are a form of communication. These entertainers, these puppets, they want your spirit. They want your energies. They want your frequencies. They want your soul. To feed them and give them life. They want all of it. Here's one more. They love the serpent. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people shall be destroyed due to the lack of knowledge." We must increase in frequency, meaning we must increase in knowledge. What we don't know can ultimately lead us to destruction. I'm about to get into the video now. Pay attention.
Don't let your eyes deceive you. Use critical thinking.
Hey, Meta, film this.
Free the hand.
Hey, Meta, stop filming.
Now, if you were paying attention with your spiritual eyes, you could see that they were promoting two different things. The first thing was their Hindu god, Durga. She represents protection, power, strength. She's the feminist goddess, according to, Google. But that is a bold-faced lie. She's the total opposite of that. She represents wrath, destruction, entity. She wants to destroy anything that's carrying the light. And I'm talking about the light of Yah. Some people will say, well, that was the Hindu god Shiva. But Durga has many arms. Shiva doesn't.
Oh.
This statue is at CERN's headquarters in Switzerland.
Remember that.
Where they open up portals and let these entities in. And they continuously do it all the time. Just like they have a CERN building in Tennessee, most people don't know about. And the second thing that they were projecting on the masses of people was transhumanism. They want us to totally be connected to artificial intelligence. They want us to rely on it. They want us to breathe it. They want us to become it. Look what the AI system have done to the job market. You tell me what you see. They're ushering in the Antichrist beast system. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you feel it? Now is the time more than ever to rebuke and to repent and to give your life over to the Most High Yah.
They truly didn't want me to get this information out because I had to do that video 3 times. But it's all good. If you're not following me, my channels are below. I just wanted to tell you I love you. I love you. Continue to spread peace, love, and enlightenment. Let's continue to increase. The truth shall prevail. Go follow. I'll see you in the next video. Shalom.
Shawn Michaels, man. Always be dropping knowledge on us, bro. I'm glad I found his clips, man. He dropped a whole lot of information, man, that I'm going to dive into.
And just like I think most other people in Hollywood, I know all the rumors, and I've certainly heard people that have firsthand experiences of occult practices at the higher levels, like, serious stuff.
Like what? Like what kind of things? Our audience might not know.
Producer parties where they're having actual seances, where they're doing they're bringing in, bringing in stuff that they claim is, the flesh of children, that sort of stuff. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. Almost anything you can imagine. I never saw any of it firsthand, though. And even the firsthand accounts that I heard were relatively rare. So, like most people, I got a lot of secondhand news about those sorts of things.
Oh, yeah, and I would imagine so. I mean, most people who are involved in that are keeping it secret. It's like one of those poorly kept secrets. We all know things are happening.
All the shit that's going on with Russia, China, with the United States saying they're going to take Greenland, with the United States saying they're going to get out of NATO, we need to know what to do just in case a nuclear event happens. So I researched it, and outside is not the place to be. If there is a nuclear event, you need to be inside. If a blast happens, and you do survive that blast, you should be looking for shelter inside. And we're not talking about upstairs in a penthouse. We're not talking about upstairs in the attic. You should be somewhere that has a basement, a very, very low level. And when you get there, do not think about coming outside for 3 days. That's right. You have to stay there for 72 hours. The most important thing you can do is be in that basement, away from windows, away from that blast, because that radiation will send you to God. If you do some research, it says that 90% of radiation leaves in the first 24 hours. So again, you want to give yourself 72 hours so all of this shit settles. If you see that flash, you know you are too close. That means you need to get your ass where you need to be and do not move. And I forgot to add this. If you are around and a blast happens outside, you need to strip. Take them clothes off, get them shits away from you, put them shits somewhere, get rid of them shits. Because you're contaminated. Because you're contaminated. In the shower, wash off, and again, find somewhere. Basically what I'm saying is don't be a hero. Get your ass in a place where you're safe, and hopefully you make it to see another day. Pay attention.
Scientists have found a hidden prehistoric world beneath Antarctica, frozen for 34 million years. I don't even want to question why everybody finding out everything they finding out. If you know, you know. We in the time of revelation, and revelation means to reveal. What I'm gonna say is, that's where I'm moving. I ain't paying no rent. If y'all want to come with me to move there, I'm gonna say Antarctica just so ice. I don't know ice. There are like tropical parts of Antarctica where there are volcanoes at. Where there is heat and water, there is life. So y'all know me, as soon as I saw this shit, I dove deep. If you don't know who Billy Carson is, lock in, nigga. When I see that land right there, I just want to think about all the good stuff that we were supposed to be. Either way it go, this could be really good or very, very bad. The way things are going, it's probably very bad. But if you just want to stay vibrating high, we can just say, you know what, it's not bad. We gonna live there, and only the good people gonna be there, and everybody gonna be nice to each other. Nobody gonna be stealing. You wanna know how I know we don't know shit? Cause we always finding some shit out. Even the most smartest motherfuckers we got on the planet always discovering shit. Yeah. That's how you, what do we know if they keep finding shit? We don't know shit. We don't know nothing, bro. That's what I be trying to say, bro. We don't know nothing. If you act like you know anything, you don't know shit. So bitch ass.
The first ever show has just been played in the Las Vegas Sphere, and videos from the inside have shocked the world. The band U2 were the first to christen the stage inside the sold-out arena. They were dwarfed by the world's highest resolution LED wraparound screen that covered most of the audience, and augmented the concert experience with trippy as hell animation. The visuals range from flying through portals, performing in the clouds on another planet, and even being inside some digital infinity tunnel thing. And because the Sphere is fitted with more than 160,000 speakers, the same pristine sound is delivered to every single seat, regardless of whether someone's at the top row or on the bottom floor. The venue is also equipped with haptic seats that can vibrate to match whatever's happening on the screen. And it also has 4D machines that can create wind, temperature, and even scent effects. So the question is, who do you think would be the best artist to watch performing here? And you can't say Taylor Swift.
You know, like the North Pole? Yeah. What country is that? I don't know. But you know that land there?
Yeah, it's like the top.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you call it? Just the North Pole.
Just the, yeah.
The Mandela effect is, not only is there no country,
what?
There's no land. It's water.
What?
The North Pole, there's nothing there.
Wait.
There's nothing there the whole time.
What?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
No, this is it, right?
No, that's Russia.
What?
There's no land, bro.
They literally made us color in that part.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm not a geographical guy, but I'm pretty sure there is land at the North Pole.
There's nothing.
What have they been teaching us, bro?
California gotta be under some heavy spiritual attack for all of this stuff to be taking place, because this is not normal. Do y'all think this has to do with the Queen Khalifa battle, like in a new time space? Because everything recycles, history repeats itself.
A rapidly strengthening Bob cyclone will develop off the coast of California Christmas Eve, bringing a severe windstorm to NorCal and very heavy rainfall to the entire state. This Bob cyclone will drive an extremely strong cold front through central and northern California late Tuesday evening into early Wednesday morning, with the potential for embedded severe thunderstorms and even isolated tornadoes. A high wind watch has been issued for the entire Bay Area for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and thousands could be without power on Christmas
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. As NorCal deals with damaging winds and heavy rain, the bomb cyclone will also help funnel a powerful atmospheric river into Southern California on Christmas Eve. This storm will deliver massive rainfall amounts. The National Weather Service has further increased storm projections, with 7.5 inches of rain forecast to fall in Los Angeles from December 23rd to December 27th, and 3 to 4 inches in San Diego. The weather across California this week will simply be insane. I mean, check out this image of weather watches and warnings across the state. Virtually the entire state is now under some form of a wind, winter, or flood watch or warning. Over 25 million people are
aware. When Jim Carrey played the Grinch, he said he had to sit through 8 hours of painful makeup sessions every day. He said putting on the makeup felt like he was being buried alive. The suit was so itchy and painful that after the first day of filming, he kicked a hole through the wall and was going to quit the movie. So Jim Carrey hired a CIA expert who trained him on how to deal with torture. Buddy Ebsen played the original Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. However, you never actually see him in the movie. This is because the original Tin Man outfit and makeup contains real aluminum, which is extremely toxic. This caused Buddy to be rushed to the hospital where he almost died.
Oh. Those actors, man. Those prosthetics.
Top 5 countries with the longest school days. Australia, 6.5 hours. France, 8 hours. South Korea, 8 hours. Kenya, 8 hours. China, 9.5 hours.
Here's why you should stop rubbing
that.
your eyes.
That was no joke. You seriously need to stop rubbing your eyes as much, and here's why. Trust me, you might want to favorite this video because you might need this as a reminder in the future. Let's be honest, we're all guilty of this at some point. But I bet you didn't know that continually rubbing your eyes can actually cause really bad damage to your cornea. In fact, it can thin out your cornea, causing it to bulge. I mean, let's go back to the MRI footage. This is someone rubbing their eye. Visibly being able to see the pressure it puts on your eye, and the way that the eye can actually change shape, increasing the pressure on your eye by 20 times. And it gets worse if you rub your eyes with your knuckles or the back of your hands. So although the occasional rub probably won't do you any harm, consistently doing it and consistently doing it hard could lead to potential vision loss. So saying this to literally anyone you know, because for their eyes' sake, they need to see this. Elon!
This woman who recently competed in the Olympics in Paris was just murdered. This is 27-year-old Rebecca Cheptegei, and she was a marathon runner in Uganda. Rebecca competed in the women's marathon in the Olympics, and she finished in 44th place. Not long after returning from Paris, on August 31st, she was set on fire by her boyfriend. They identified this man as Dixon Edema, and apparently they were arguing over a piece of land. The attack happened outside of Rebecca's house, and it was said that her daughter tried to help her and save her, but this man had kicked her and also tried to beat her as well. It was said that Rebecca was found by neighbors who heard the arguing, and they were the ones who put out the fire. These burns were so severe it covered 80% of her body, and that's why she did not survive. But her boyfriend was also burned, but it only covered about 30% of his body, and he is now in stable condition. This is so sad, and violence towards women in Uganda is very common. There's actually been a few athletes who have been murdered by their partners in the last few years.
Maps that will...
That needs to change, man. She was literally in the Olympics, and then her whole freaking life trajectory changed, man. That's just for her.
Change the way you see the world. This is a unique visual that shows what the Roman Empire citizens believed was the entire world. This is what Chile looks like stretched across all of Europe. This is what all the uninhabited land in the United States looks like. This map shows the largest employer in each US state. These are the average train speeds across Europe. This map shows the distribution of ticks that are infected with Lyme disease across the United States. This map shows in the United States how many people commit violent crimes per 100,000 residents. This is a topographic map of Europe. This map shows the percentage of population in each Europe country that has never used the internet before. This map is comparing the populations of cities in Greece and Turkey, with each little square representing about 250,000 people. This map shows the most popular streaming services across all the countries in Europe. Can you guess where this puzzle piece is from? You're able to guess what country this is just by the shape.
If you haven't heard about this,
I couldn't get those last two. Could you?
Police across the world are warning people of this literally as we speak, and you would never even realise you've been scammed until this. But there is a new scam which only takes one person to do it in one simple move. And what it does is allow hackers to get into your phone, get access to all your personal information, cards, any single thing you own. So how this works is you'll get a package outside your door, like you would, from a brand. It could be Amazon, it could be Pretty Little Thing, anything that you're buying.
Okay.
It could be from a company that you buy stuff from regularly, so you just think, oh, I'm a loyal customer, give me a free gift. You open it up, there could be something inside. It might be a t-shirt, it might be a hoodie, it might be some shoes, whatever. Then there'll be a QR code in there that says, thanks for your loyalty, please scan here. Obviously, you're going to scan it. Why wouldn't you? Well, if you scan this QR code, that's where this happens. They will then be able to get into your phone from scanning that link. You literally would not be able to tell that this has happened to you until you see the money going out of your account or something like that. So yeah, if you don't order a parcel, just be wary if there's a QR code in there that it's telling you to scan. Do your research, please, because it could save you a lot of money. Now, of course, please share this video around with anybody you know, friends and family, because I know some of the older generation would scan it in an instant. And I will keep you updated.
China has just had to urgently
Nothing is left for free.
400,000 people after they were hit by one of the most powerful super typhoons in over a decade. And for perspective, a super typhoon is equivalent to that of a Category 5 hurricane. All schools in the area that made landfall were shut. Trains, boats, and flights were suspended, and all tourist attractions have been closed down. The winds near its center reached a staggering 145 miles per hour, and this typhoon has doubled in strength after it killed more than 16 people in the Philippines last week. It's now predicted to move along and hit Vietnam this weekend.
Uncommon human traits. Being able to move one eyebrow, 25% of people. Growing a full beard, 1 in 5 men. Having dimples, 1 in 5 people. Going bald, 1 in 8 men. Having an outy belly button, 1 in 10 people. Being left-handed, 1 in 10 people. Having curly hair, 1 in 10 people. Having blue eyes, 1 in 10 people. Having green eyes, 1 in 50 people.
That's very rare. Green eyes, 1 in 50, man. That just shows you that the rarity. I see blue eyes often, but never green eyes, man. It's very rare if I see somebody with green eyes.
Did you know these facts? The Boeing factory is so large they had to install a one-of-a-kind air circulation system to stop clouds from forming inside of the building. This is the world's smallest drawbridge in Bermuda. The US Navy is known to have used Xbox controllers to control the periscopes on submarines. James Cameron was homeless when he wrote The Terminator. He sold the rights for $1 on the condition that he was the one to direct the movie. A race was held in 1888 between a pigeon and a bee for 3 miles, where the bee won by 25 seconds. Camels have 3 eyelids that helps protect their eyes from the blowing sand. Cherries are dried with helicopters. It would take you 18 months to walk the Great Wall of China. The USA speaks more than 350 different languages. Scientists are out there making arguments that we may have more than 5 senses, one of them being magnetoreception, which is the ability to sense magnetic fields, and the other is chronoception, which is the ability to sense time passing.
You won't believe what this man saw during the 2024 solar eclipse. Reddit user Blakester731 said that him and a couple of friends went to watch the solar eclipse at a fishing spot out in the backwater in Tennessee. It was a secluded area that also hosts a small Trail of Tears memorial. They passed the stone monument on their way to go fishing, which acknowledged the removal of the Cherokee from their native land and the tragedies that occurred there. He said that him and his friends gave it their private respects and moved along to the fishing spot. Time passed like any other day out fishing, and they were having a good time. Towards the afternoon, the dark shape of the moon started to move closer to the sun. The woods all of a sudden became very quiet. The sounds of birds, flies, and cicadas all seemingly disappeared. Then the eclipse started, and the world got darker around them. Colors and weird shadows split across the ground. Reddit user Blakester731 said that he was switching from his light-resistant glasses to the landscape around him. He looked towards the trees, and then finally, the moon was full and only the sun's halo showed behind it. He took the glasses off to see it more clearly, and then he says, they were there. He said that they were like reflections and shadows standing around them. There were tall, dark human shapes surrounding them. There were hundreds of them in the woods, behind the trees, and on the shoreline. He screamed and fell out of his chair. His friends then took their glasses off and shot out of their chairs too. They all grouped together and started moving towards their truck. But just as the moon moved off the sun, the shadow figures vanished. The whole thing had lasted less than 3 minutes, but they got out of there as fast as they could.
Facts.
Hey man, people they saying they saw different stuff during the solar eclipse, man. That didn't happen like a while ago, like a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. So, Seekers, where were you guys at, man, when that solar eclipse happened? I was outside just trying to look up at it with the glasses, making sure nothing weird was going on, but everybody has a different story.
You didn't know, part 219. This is the last video taken of Steven Weber, who proposed to his girlfriend underwater. While on a trip in Tanzania, the couple were staying in a submerged room. Steven swam underwater to the outside of the room with a note and a ring. The front of the note read, "I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you, but everything I love about you, I love more every day." When he turned the note over, it read, "Will you please be my wife? Marry me?" He then produced a ring from his pocket before swimming out of frame. Tragically, he never made it to the surface and drowned. The Mark Jackson basketball card from 1990 has two unique guests featured in the background. The Menendez brothers can be seen sitting courtside after murdering their parents and prior to their arrest. When the SS Daniel J. Morrell began to sink on Lake Huron in 1966, the crew believed they were just moments from being rescued when they spotted lights that they believed was from another boat. To their horror, they discovered that the lights were actually from the severed stern of their own ship. It was barreling towards them under the power of the ship's engine.
Alright, so these are the insects that's usually on your strawberries.
Come again?
So far we got some mites. And it's pretty normal if you want fresh organic vegetables and fruits, they're gonna have bugs on them. Let's see how much are when you rinse them or wash them off. Ooh, looks like just rinsing them for a few seconds got rid of a lot of the insects. Now I will say, even though you wash them off on the outside, there's still the inside, which I'm sure contains plenty of insects because they burrow themselves in. So even when you wash your fruit and veggies, just know there might be insects inside the fruits and veggies as well. Which is a good source of protein, I guess, right?
You die in this VR game, you die in real life. Yes, this video is not fake. This is genuinely something that was just invented, and you won't believe who by. And it's not as crazy a person as you might think, which kind of makes it even more terrifying. It is almost unbelievable the world's first VR headset that literally kills you if you die in the game has just been created. And just quickly, TikTok are now showing you your lookalike on the app. Just tap share copy more, and if you've got one, it will come up. The man who invented it, Palmer Luckey, is a leader in VR, a government contractor, and the creator of Meta's Oculus headset. So this is the real deal. The headset is hooked up to 3 explosive charge modules that sit above the screen. The charges are aimed directly at the user's forebrain, and should they go off, would obliterate the head of the user. He said he created it because only the threat of serious consequences can make the game feel real to you and every other person in the game. He even says that he wants to work on an anti-tampering model that cannot be removed or destroyed. So if you decide to put it on, there is no going back. Thankfully, this headset is not commercially available yet. Would you play this with any of your friends?
Did you know these?
Hell no, man. They trying to freaking, saying this VR stuff, man, they trying to make it too weird, bro. Virtual reality is only supposed to be real up until a point. But now, like you said, he wants to make one where it can try to, like, lock you in, you can't even take it off your head. Don't buy that VR set, Seekers.
Facts. Jesse Pinkman and Walter Jr. were never in an episode of Breaking Bad. Amelia Earhart had a co-pilot when she went missing. Bill Withers wrote the song Ain't No Sunshine while he worked for a factory that built airplane toilet seats. A bear was the first living being to survive a supersonic ejection. Dr. Phil lost his psychology license in 2006, and all guests on his show have to sign a contract that says that they are getting advice from an individual and not a psychologist. Gaming tournaments are now adding clauses to allow judges to penalize players for dirty clothing or terrible odor as much as giving them a full loss. Berlin has still not recovered from its pre-World War II population count. A school principal made a student that was in trouble sit in the basement and read the U.S. Constitution. That student was Thurgood Marshall. He memorized the entire Constitution and became the first ever black Supreme Court justice.
Here are some Disney Channel stars that went to jail, but each time the crime gets worse. Starting off, Mitchell Musso, who played Oliver Oaken in Hannah Montana, was pulled over in 2011 for driving under the influence. He was only 20 at the time and was arrested and released on bail. Because of this, his character was written out of Parrot Kings, and his show prank star Stars was cancelled. Next up, Adam Hicks, who played Luther on Zeke and Luther and had a starring role in Lemonade Mouth, was arrested a couple times, but most recently for an armed robbery with his girlfriend. His sentencing was delayed multiple times due to mental health evaluations and was eventually given a 5-year sentence. But he's now currently on parole and making music on TikTok. Moving on, Lindsay Lohan was Disney's golden child in the early 2000s, starring in iconic movies such as The Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, and Mean Girls, before getting into trouble with the law. She's been arrested for driving under the influence, drug possession, violating her probation, a theft charge, and has even had a bench warrant out for her arrest. And finally, Phil Lewis, who played Mr. Mosby on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, was arrested and charged for vehicle manslaughter after killing a 21-year-old girl while drunk driving. When they tested his blood alcohol, it was 3 times the legal limit. He was originally given a 5-year sentence, 2 years of probation, and 350 hours of community service, but ended up only serving 1 year due to his work with prison-based theater groups that performed in jails, churches, and schools to highlight the consequences of drug abuse.
That's our childhood, bro. Exposed, man.
Like pandas, right? They'll usually have twins, but since they don't have the facilities to take care of more than one, let's just say Zach might be fine, but Cody getting canceled. Mary Kay might be okay, but Ashley ain't. And that's assuming Big Mama don't roll in her sleep and flatline her first choice. So what Zeus will do is, they'll have twins running shifts with their mom. That way both couples have a chance at life. Whole time the desaturated deadbeat is convinced she only had one. Here are some other horrible mothers of nature. The harp seal, because she's actually a good mother. For like 2 weeks, then she leaves the kid on ice even though it won't be able to swim or really do anything for itself for the next 6 weeks. Posting your child to chase more seal peel is negligent. Doing it in God's icebox is outrageous. And pulling that in polar bear country is just diabolical. The scorpion, because she literally carries her entire family on her back to protect them from predators. Pretty f***ing ironic, because if there is enough food around, she'll take some of the brood off her back and have herself a kid's meal. This guy, and I think you know why, because marsupials like quokkas, wallabies, and kangaroos will evict their child out the pouch as a last resort against predators. Logically, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Morally, it puts you in the class of Casey Anthony. This welfare fraud with wings. Not only do they con other birds into raising children they have no parts in, it is scientifically documented that cuckoos will use mob violence to force them to do it. So to be fair, the first thing the cuckoo chick does is yeet every foster sibling out the nest. And when you're born that much of a cockwife, there isn't much hope for your future, the more you know.
During World War II,
well, you know, he said it.
They wanted to take back Ramree Island from the Japanese. So on January 21st, 1945, British and Indian infantry stormed the beaches of Ramree to try to take it back. As soon as they land, they have all this naval artillery support just bombing the crap out of this airbase, but the Japanese do not want to surrender, and instead they give up the airbase that they were on, so the British take that back, and the remaining 1,000 Japanese soldiers started retreating to the opposite end of the island. But the only issue with this particular retreat was they would have to go through 10 miles of mangrove swamp. So that night, as the British are just kind of hanging out in their boats staring at the swamp, they start hearing screams coming from inside of this swamp. It's Japanese soldiers. They hear gunfire and then silence. And the British are watching this like, do we have troops in there? What's going on in there? What was going on in there is defined by the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest massacre of humans caused by animals. And not just any animal, saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles are notorious night hunters. So what probably happened is the Japanese got inside of this mangrove. The crocodiles were immediately aware of their presence, but they waited until nighttime before they started having a feeding frenzy. And at the end of their retreat, when the Japanese did get to the other side of this swamp, only 500 of the 1,000 made it out the other side. And so to this day, people stay far away from Ramree Island because there are so many of these man-eating saltwater crocodiles that have no issue ripping you to shreds.
Whew. Dark time of history. Never knew that, man. Watching these clips always expands my knowledge base.
Is it actually dangerous to tickle a stingray? Tickling a stingray, as depicted in a viral video where a man appears to make a stingray laugh, might seem like a harmless and amusing interaction. However, experts caution against such actions for several reasons. And just quickly, check if you've got any free TikTok tokens to claim. Tap share, copy, then more, and you'll see if you have any. Primarily concerning the safety and well-being of the animal. Stingrays, like many aquatic creatures, are not accustomed to being handled by humans, especially in ways that are unnatural to them, such as tickling. These animals are adapted to life in water, where they have evolved specific behaviors and responses to their environment. Interactions like tickling can be stressful and potentially harmful to stingrays. They may not have the same sensory responses as mammals, and what appears as laughter or enjoyment is likely a misinterpretation of their natural reaction to an unusual stimulus. Furthermore, stingrays have defense mechanisms. including the well-known sting in their tail, which they use when they feel threatened or stressed. Attempting to tickle or otherwise interact closely with a stingray can provoke this defensive response, posing a risk of injury to the person involved. From an ethical standpoint, respecting wildlife and maintaining a safe distance is crucial for the conservation and well-being of these animals.
Top 3 creepy last words
tickle a stinger.
said right before dying.
Simple.
A nurse who wants to remain anonymous said that she had a sweet patient named Ella who started to lose herself to dementia. She started talking to herself. Most of the time it was playful. She would laugh to herself. One day, the nurse walked into her room and she was in a complete panic. She had her blanket pulled up to her chin and she was completely pale. The nurse went to her bedside to ask her what was wrong, and she said, "There is a woman in black looking in my window, and I am just petrified of her smile." The nurse said that it shook her hard. Reddit user Simple Simon 6262 said that when he was a student, he got called in on a stroke patient. She had coded and they were doing CPR. They worked for 45 minutes. But she died. They cleaned her up and called on her family to say goodbye. By the time her family left, she had been both brain dead and without a pulse for over 45 minutes. He said that blood had filled her brain and she was completely gray and had started to smell. Suddenly, she sat up and called for her family. The nurses rushed to get equipment and monitors back on her. She stabilized, said goodbye to her family, and promptly died a second time. Reddit user AJH1717 said that he works in a cardiovascular surgical ICU. He said that they had a stretch of nights where each corner room of their unit reported seeing a black cat walking around. Not a friendly cat either, apparently. The thing was hissing at them. The accounts were so similar to each other that they probably spent half an hour looking for the cat. Then they had security look as well. No cat was ever seen or found. 2 of those 4 patients coded the next day.
Have scientists just proven that we actually live in a simulation? I cannot believe what I'm about to tell you. Trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video because this could actually change the world.
Break it down for us.
Essentially, the new laws of physics support the concept that we are living in a computer simulation. Now please, stay with me. This is all being researched by a man named Melvin Vopson. A name which after this video you're probably going to want to bring up in your next therapy appointment. Claiming that we are all characters in an advanced virtual world. He claims that the physical behavior of information in our universe resembles the process of a computer deleting and compressing code. And do you want to know what that means? So the fucking I. However, it's his next quote specifically that makes me go, "Wah!" Clue that perhaps the machines hope we don't notice. You're right, Melvin, mate. These are some bold claims that we are absolutely living in a computer simulation. Bold enough claims to give Matthew nightmares. There is so much more on this, including the fact that he believes symmetry in our world is the clue to everything, saying that all biological life presents some form of symmetry. As well, solids and crystals also have symmetry, because apparently symmetry is the best way of optimizing and rendering a digitally constructed world. That's why we have symmetries everywhere rather than asymmetries. I'm way too deep down this rabbit hole. What do you think, computer simulation or real life?
See, because what do you guys think, man? We in a simulation? You guys know what my background is, so. Is it true, man? We in the Matrix, bro? We just don't know it yet? We gotta wake up, bro. Rage Against the Machine, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check up that, man. Sounds like a deep rabbit hole, bro. Sounds worth it, though.
This whole Smart Schoolboy 9 situation just got far crazier. I cannot believe I'm actually saying this. So I'm sure you're all very aware of this whole Smart Schoolboy 9 situation. It's going crazy on social media right now. Since this whole thing came out, it's finally been revealed what his face actually looks like without the makeup and weird clothes on. And yeah, it is just like, this guy's a full-on 59-year-old man. What is bro doing? There he is. Still completely dressed up. Now, since this whole thing broke, there has been many people coming forward saying about their interactions with him. Apparently even has links to the guy who made salad fingers, so that explains it. We know his name appeared in this news article about school uniforms and how they're good. But many people claiming they've seen him out and about dressed like this, chasing them. Apparently he's had multiple run-ins with the authorities who have raided his house before and found very bad things. But these are all just allegations, so no one knows for sure. But what we do know is that some of the videos are real, and I wish I could put them here, but I can't because it'll just get taken down. Videos of this guy doing some truly disturbing things and full-on chasing people. As I say, I can't post it here, but link in my bio to my full YouTube video if you want to go and watch that. But yeah, there is so many new things coming out about this guy. Apparently he's being looked into by the authorities right now, but who knows. But yeah, any more disturbing stuff I literally can't post here will be on my YouTube. But hit that follow button here, and I'll keep you updated with any new things that come out here.
I seen that, man. That's that Smart Bro School 9 videos be trending everywhere on TikTok, YouTube. That's just everywhere, man. That just sounds like a freaking creepy case. I could check out a video, I guess, on YouTube if you guys seek it, if you want me to do that.
You didn't know, R225. In 1559, King Henry II of France was participating in a jousting tournament. During a match, he was severely wounded in the eye and brain by a splintered lance. He died of his injuries 10 days later, with his death leading to the decline of jousting as a sport in France. Actress and Playboy centerfold Yvette Vickers was last seen in 2010 after withdrawing from her family in Venice. When neighbor Susan Savage noticed cobwebs on the mailbox, she went inside to investigate. Upstairs, she discovered her mummified body. Lieutenant Colonel William Henry Rankin is one of only 2 known persons to survive falling from the top of a cumulonimbus thunderstorm cloud. He was forced to eject from his jet when his engine failed. It took him 40 minutes to finally reach the ground. During his descent, he suffered from frostbite, and severe decompression caused his mouth, eyes, ears, and nose to bleed.
40 minutes just free falling on top of the cloud.
What you just saw is the United States Coast Guard raiding a high-speed submarine in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, moving more than 17,000 pounds of cocaine. On June 18th, 2019, a Coast Guard surveillance aircraft tracked and intercepted the drug-filled narco sub hundreds of miles off the Colombian-Ecuadorian coastline. The video shows a member of the Coast Guard riding on top of the speeding submarine. He then starts pounding on the hatch and demanding it to come to a stop. 3 other Coast Guard members then jump ship and board the 40-foot-long submarine. The video then continues, and you see the presumed trafficker emerging from the submarine hatch with his hands up, surrendering. And in total, 5 alleged smugglers were seized on board the vessel and were handed over for prosecution by the United States Drug Enforcement Administration.
Are these your friends, the police?
Now, just watch the full encounter unfold. It's honestly something straight out of a video game.
What's he yelling? I'm trying to say what the hell is he saying? This is something like out of a video game, out of a movie. I just jumped on it. Whew. Have the freaking balance being on top of that too.
To make sure that these criminals survive long enough to have that justice served.
Terrified they didn't really yesterday they released the popcorn bucket, man, for these movie theaters and 8 popcorn buckets. Crazy. Meetup? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, let me break it down for you guys, man. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the seekers, man. Everybody who's watching the videos entirely, comment down below. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do best, seekers. Stay with me, y'all. Yeah, I know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
Did the angels come down and cut down all the giant trees? Watch this.
Enoch describes this perfectly. And this book was left out of the Bible on purpose from our predecessors, but it describes the angels coming down and cutting all these giant trees down to flood out the Nephilim, the giants, these beings that stretched 4,500 feet tall. These trees would reach the heavens, and that's why you always see the flat mountaintops.
That was an
these were
ancient
massive trees way back in the day. Giant trees. This was a much bigger realm. And they came and they cut all this down because they wanted to get rid of the Nephilim. They wanted to get rid of the giants. It is said that there's about 200 of these trees that were cut down. And if you take a look around, that's pretty accurate. There could be even more. But the evidence is right in front of your face. And when you cut a tree down, water will start pouring out from the trees. But it's as above, so below. The water's above the firmament. This is where all the flooding came in. It was right after they cut the trees down was when we experienced this massive flood. And it wiped out all of the giants, all of the Nephilim. And this was mentioned, again, in the book of Enoch. And they left it out on purpose, guys. Like, they left this shit out on purpose because they don't want you to know the real origins of humanity and our true history.
I'll tell you some things
Giants?
I learned today. Apparently, less than 10% of all plastic has ever actually been recycled. Orange chicken was invented at a Hawaiian Panda Express in 1987. Boeing once filled an airplane with potatoes to test its in-flight Wi-Fi because potatoes mimic the way humans absorb and reflect wireless signals. Sometimes I feel like a potato. I guess sun exposure can cause skin cancer, which is an obvious one, but it also reduces overall mortality rates, including from cancer. Apparently the population density of Manhattan is now 40% lower than it was in 1910, when it peaked at 2.2 million residents. That's a lot of people back then. Now it only has 1.6. Also, Central Park is only the 6th biggest park in New York City. That one blows my mind. Apparently Burger King is not allowed to use the name Burger King in Mattoon, Illinois, because there is a restaurant there already protected, as they made the name a state trademark in 1959 and have defended it in court against Burger King.
Now, why does everybody get on this app and act like that new iPhone 17 is the best thing since sliced bread? And if you don't know, Apple just dropped the previews for the new iPhone 17. And just like every other iPhone, the iPhone is trash. Look at this shit. They're about to play in everybody's face all over again. Oh, this is the biggest iPhone lineup ever. There's so many different colors. So they got 4 new iPhones. The iPhone 17 Pro Max, the iPhone 17 Pro, the iPhone 17 Air, and the iPhone 17. And the best thing out of everything is the iPhone Air. Made in titanium. And the battery lasts all day. Nobody don't care about that shit. You got 2 or 3 cameras. One with 1 camera, and then you got another one with 2 cameras. And again, Samsung wins. Nobody asked for none of this shit, man. Nobody asked for AirPods that translate shit. Who asked for that? I'm gonna say this again. Because I have an iPhone, I'm filming this on an iPhone, but I also have a Samsung. Samsung is truly better. I'm not going into the details to tell you everything this should do. You go down the rabbit hole and see. And listen, I know everybody is about to say, yo, the 17 is coming out. I'm about to go waste my money. I might just go get it too. That don't mean I can't not like it. Apple, y'all, you did it again. Y'all need to straighten your shit up, man. For real.
Back on the subject of...
Y'all team Apple or team Samsung, bro. I don't freaking upgrade my phone to the clunk side on me, man. To me, bro, it's not worth it, man. Wasting that unnecessary money trying to keep upgrading every single year. They coming out with these phones like that, so I don't know how some of y'all be keeping up with it, bro.
Disneyland animatronic malfunctions. This is Walt Disney, and his animatronic was Lean With It, Rock It With It. There's a video of another malfunction of this exact animatronic at the end, and it is super creepy. I don't know why this animatronic freaks me out so bad. It looks so extremely human. I don't like it. Also, there is a rumor that Walt Disney's soul inhabits it. You know, all the rumors of like Walt Disney's body is cryogenically frozen on Disneyland, or like his body is there somewhere. This animatronic holds his soul. And that's why it keeps breaking down, because he does not want to be an animatronic, which I do not blame him. I would not want to be either. But those eyes are extremely realistic, and I am frightened. This is what it's supposed to move like. Like, the movements are extremely fluid, like creepily so. They look super, super human. I watched this video of this on Malfunction, and it just stops working. Just like out of nowhere. I don't know why this creeps me out so bad. Does it scare you also? And what do you think about his soul being trapped inside it? Could you imagine? Just like stuck for all eternity, having to perform like a dancing monkey. Like, no, I don't like the thought of it. So like his soul is trying to rebel and be like, I don't want to do this. And so it just keeps breaking down. Watch this and let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy vibes, bro. Those animatronics. It looks too fluid, bro. Oh, he glitched out. Heard him say, uh-oh.
Are we living in some sort of simulation or matrix? Why do I ask? Because there's a viral video that's floating around the internet that shows a lunar eclipse. And once the eclipse occurs, you see multiple moons in the sky. You haven't seen the video, take a look at this. Look at this right here. Watch as they zoom in. There's the eclipse right there. And there are 3 other moons present in this video.
4K.
Is that some sort of reflection? What is going on? I paused the video right here because you can see right up there, that is the actual moon being covered during the eclipse. What are the other 3 moons that are in front of it? Here it is, fully blown up for you, as clear as I can get it. As you can see, the eclipse is right there in the background. What are these other 1, 2, 3 moons that are in the frame? I run the video to see if it was AI. I put it through Grok and through ChatGPT. Both came back saying that the video is real and was recorded somewhere in Europe or in Russia. So what did we just see on that video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
This woman has spent the last 3 years building an entire tunnel system under her house. And yes, she has neighbors. You see, initially, Carla only set out to build a storm shelter under her property in Virginia. But instead of hiring a team of professionals with 0 qualifications, Carla set out starting hand-mixing her own concrete, laying down hundreds of blocks. She blasted through multiple jackhammers. She built a freaking elevator to haul out more than 200 tons of rock. She installed pumps for excess water and even had to build a ventilation system so she didn't suffocate down there. I mean, one small mistake playing IRL Minecraft can literally mean death. That's why it's even more mind-blowing when you find out that not only is she doing all of this work by herself, spending 50 to 100K of her own money so far, but also she works in freaking IT. She's entirely self-taught. Is this what happens when you realize you have free will? And what makes this story even crazier is that she's not digging underneath some isolated house. She lives in a normal neighborhood. And actually, this freaked a lot of them out because, I don't know, sinkholes reaching the netherworld, angering the nethermoth. So I guess it makes sense that one of her curtain-twitching neighbors snitched.
We have some complaints. Basically, there's some construction going on.
And in December 2023, local authorities turned up to her house. They inspected her tunnels, declared them unsafe, and ordered her to halt construction. Oh, but the government had no idea who they were up against. She taught herself how to mine. Paperwork and legal code? That's some wind-down bedtime reading. So she went to war for over a year, and I cannot stress this enough. She somehow won and got the government to allow an unqualified individual to dig tunnels as a hobby underneath a suburban neighborhood. This woman needs to run for president because I believe she can achieve anything. Her permits were approved in March, and today the tunnels continue. Next, she says that she'll be using the 2,000-year-old stone blocks to build a castle. And she'll probably get approval to build it on top of the freaking White House.
Say goodbye to your phone.
Yeah.
UK. Data protection on Apple devices is one of their biggest things. You know your data is safe, but not for long in the UK. It's been in talks for a long time now, but basically UK government wanted a backdoor into Apple devices devices so that your data wasn't fully encrypted and they could access it, for the reason that they could then track criminals and see their text messages and things like that without it being protected. But of course, data protection is one of Apple's biggest things that they pride themselves on. That's why they're so big. But this tool was actually removed so that your data isn't actually as protected as it was before. In recent days, there's been reports on the government actually walking back and backtracking on this backdoor demand after meetings with Trump and the US. The UK also have said that Apple hold too much power by completely controlling the market, so by pushing people in the UK away from Apple would let other developers compete fairly while having strong protection still. But Apple have said you wouldn't be protected as much, and it's a huge data risk to citizens of the EU because they would be going to other parties external from Apple and it wouldn't be protected. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'll keep you posted, but let me know your thoughts.
Y'all, I don't know what timeline we in, but all I know is shit is getting dark. This lady walked inside, I think this is a hospital. She walked up to this lady. The lady gets up from her chair to greet her, and she tries to bite her, y'all. I'm talking about take a chunk out of her neck or her head, something. All I know is she tried to bite her, y'all. I'ma play the video. Y'all look at this shit. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
Let's break this down.
This shit, y'all.
This ain't The Walking Dead. What the hell?
Like what? Bruh. What are you doing in this situation?
What she did?
Is that a demon or witch? Which one? That shit is crazy, fool. I don't know what's going on right now, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think she was. A witch? A demon? Like what? What would make someone walk up like that and just try to bite somebody? A zombie? She didn't look like a zombie though.
You guys heard of the Nazca mummies? Yeah, so this is in Nazca, Peru. 2015, they found 200 mummified remains, a couple dozen of which were fully intact, but they're these humanoid-looking creatures that have 3 fingers on each hand and 3 toes on each. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's just super weird, and they've done a ton of studies on these things. They did like a DNA sampling from one of its, or a couple of their flesh or whatever, and 30% of their genetic makeup is identified as something on this earth that can be identified as something, so the rest is not. Or is it the other way around? So a lot of these creatures, they still had their organs inside of them. So they did these CT scans, and one of them that they call Maria, they said it was pregnant, but it looked like it had like 3 eggs inside of it. But near the cave where they found these, they found a petroglyph of this creature that has 3 fingers on each hand. And then a lot of their art, they talk about the sky people. And so the theory is that they made these giant things in the dirt. Yeah,
to talk to
communicate, or even like a landing strip for these things.
Part of their history, part of their culture.
Y'all remember when I told y'all to watch out for the eggs and the chickens, right? Now people are reportedly popping up with giant parasites inside of their eggs. This looked like a 2-foot tapeworm that it came out of an egg that a woman was boiling. And this is not the only incident where there's parasites that is coming out of people's eggs. What is going on with our food source? First the chickens catch the buck clap, then the prices of eggs go up, and not only are the prices of eggs go up, now they got little friends inside of them. There are multiple people that are popping up and showing that they have live specimens inside of their eggs. So please check your eggs before you consume them. You might have little creatures in them. And I'm not telling y'all to completely stop eating eggs, but before you consume them, you might want to put them under a microscope for further investigation. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about these parasites that's popping up all over in people's eggs in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. And if you want to learn on how people are getting paid residual income from content creation, comment down below 18 and I'm sending back in your DMs. Be aware of the Bach clap.
Check your eggs.
They're gonna start getting the mark of the beast.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get a microchip implanted in my head.
But it was some Asian guy, right? And this is his thought process. Whenever he gets like Uber Eats from his apartment, you know we have the fob key? Yeah. Sometimes I forget it, right? So I'm gonna put the microchip in my phone, right? So now he's like, oh, sometimes I do leave my phone. What is actually always on myself? So he's like, Yes, and there's a video them planting the needle in it, and he goes up to his elevator, goes like this.
Programming is done now, let's go try it out. So now shape up the top of my hand and select my floor.
Look, the mark of the beast, look.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. You can wear a necklace.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much. You can wear a ring, bro.
Seekers is having right in front of us, bro. I'm gonna put a microchip inside of itself just so we can order Uber Eats faster and get it faster. Really? I ain't getting that chip.
AI-powered assassination drones combining facial recognition with miniaturized explosives represent what experts call humanity's most dangerous technological development since nuclear weapons. Unlike traditional weapons requiring human operators who can hesitate or refuse orders, these autonomous systems eliminate human judgment from kill decisions entirely. Commercial drones, facial recognition software, and precision components are readily available and becoming cheaper every month. A single operator could deploy thousands of these systems simultaneously against journalists, activists, politicians, or anyone who challenges powerful interests. Security experts warn this could end democratic society by making traditional protection obsolete and giving authoritarian regimes unprecedented assassination capabilities. The implications extend beyond warfare to threaten open discourse itself. When anyone can be eliminated autonomously, public participation in democracy dies. International AI safety researchers are desperately calling for immediate global treaties before this technology becomes widely deployed by state and non-state actors. The window for prevention is rapidly closing as technical barriers decrease and components become more accessible worldwide. When autonomous killing machines become as common as smartphones, what happens to human civilization?
At David's concert tonight, he finally spoke out for the first time since the body was found in his Tesla. And what David said has a lot of people mad. And a lot of people thought that David was going to end up canceling his show tonight in Minneapolis, because a majority of people think that David is innocent. However, he was just dropped from his Hollister and Crocs collab, which led a lot of people to believe that he isn't actually innocent. And even more worse, ever since David's car was towed about 6 to 7 days ago, where there was a body found decomposing in the front trunk of this Tesla, to which a lot of people are saying that there is no way that David would do this, as he has literally been on tour for the past few weeks, where the car, although is in David's name, was found abandoned in LA. When it was found in the tow lot, people were saying that it had a stinky fishy coochie smell. And now there has allegedly been another body found in a different car in LA, and this is where it gets even more insaner. Tonight when David was performing in my city of Minnesota, after not canceling his show, when he initially came out and performed, he literally just acted like nothing was wrong. And then it finally got to a part of the show where he was talking to the crowd. What I saw, he literally did not talk about the car at all. This is all alleged. I believe David's innocent, but do you?
You guys ever heard of the green line test? No. Okay, so there's this theory that in pictures of couples, if you draw a line that splits straight through their body, one line will be leaning toward the other line. So the theory goes, whoever is the line that's leaning toward the other will get their heart broken by the other. Some examples are Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry.
Yeah, she's almost leaning away, too. I think they broke it down to a science.
Another example, Tom Brady and Giselle.
Oh, the writing was on the wall.
Another example, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett.
That's a strong one. I think it's dead center on that one.
Another example, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.
Man, that's a close one. You know, Kanye is Kanye.
And last but not least, the one that breaks my heart absolutely the most.
Oh, no.
Barack Obama and Michelle Obama.
Yeah, but they're still together.
It didn't say it has happened. It says it will happen.
I believe in them. They strong Obamas.
I hope they prove it wrong.
If these aliens really do come out of the water, where's the pictures? Where's the video? What? No evidence? How do you tell someone a public story but keep the documents private? TikTok, my video is for entertainment purposes only. Do you want to know what the elites try to tell all of us when they say these aliens coming out of the water? Are you ready for this? If I told you this is connected to black people, we have 4 elements on this planet, and black people represent the water element. You ever wonder why black people can dance so good? Seem like they just move and flow like water? What if I told you black people do not belong on this planet, but we belong in the ocean, and we've been trying to escape for the longest?
DreamWorks logo trying to tell us what happened. There is a group of aliens that pulled us from the ocean. And now that we had a second moon, it's going to try to pull more of us from the water again. You think this was just an accident? They had some boy sitting on top of the moon pulling spirits out of the ocean? Our ancestors tried to warn us. Did you listen?
Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. Gods are gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. Gods are gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like the Israelite. Gods are gonna trouble.
Did anybody else's moon look like the way that Vegas's moon looked the other night? Because I've been looking for the moon here for a few nights and I haven't found it. So everybody else in Vegas was catching what appeared to be the moon or what they're calling the moon, but it was changing, it was fluctuating. Like for instance, all right, check this out. This is all in one night, all right? Y'all see that, right? Now look at it. Y'all see that? Why is it darker now? The person said this changed within like 2 minutes. And then y'all see? Look at this. It's changed again, y'all. What is going on up in the sky?
I don't know if this is picking up very well, but our moon is blood red. And I mean blood red.
Do y'all see how big it is just sitting up there? And here's another video with, I don't know what this is over it. I don't know if it's a plane or UFO. It's got blinking lights, but again, this is Vegas.
Bro, it's a red moon right now. I don't know where y'all at, but in Las Vegas it's red.
Take a look at this shot of the moon just sitting in the skyline of Las Vegas, y'all. Look how eerie this thing looks. Look how eerie this thing looks, y'all. What the, bro, this is crazy. And the fact of the matter is that the moon isn't even here in Florida. Does everybody have a different moon? But yeah, y'all, did anybody else see the moon? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. Like, follow, share for more videos like this. Let's ship this here. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Red moon over freaking Las Vegas. That's an eerie sign, seekers. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys comment down below. Leave a thumbs up in this video. You guys are going to catch it in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. Crazy.
Make you seem super cool and likable. In an average lifespan, a person breathes in around 45 pounds of dust and debris. You know how they say dogs' mouths are cleaner? That's because there's more bacteria in a person's mouth than there is people in Canada and the US combined. A man can grow up to 6 feet of nose hair in their lifetime and up to a 30-foot long beard if he never shaves. And if you ever wanted to swim in a pool of saliva, it would only take one person at the age of 60 to have produced enough saliva in his lifetime to fill up 2 pools. By the age of 60, a person will have lost 50% of their taste buds. That explains why old people like grits so much. The ear is actually really fragile, and it only takes about 7 pounds of force to rip your ear off.
That's scary to think about.
Most common zodiac signs amongst different types of people. Billionaires, Leo. Serial killers, Pisces. Famous people, Aries. Major CEOs, Capricorns. Psychopaths, Scorpios. Need help with your homework? Click the link in our bio.
Hey man, wish I saw him, bro. Cause mine was Leo billionaire. What the hell? That's some good fortune. I got some good luck on my side. That's going for me. Hey, seekers, wish I saw down below. I want to know, what was you guys, I guess, feet on that.
Here are secrets hidden in everyday things. Part 2. The cereal that we eat has a magnetic force to it. If you were to take a metal rod and place it a few inches toward a floating cereal flake, it would follow the magnet. This is because our cereals contain iron, which is added during food production. If you ever wondered why movie theater seats are usually red, it's because in the 18th century, Italian opera houses had red seats as a way to attract wealthy theater goers. colors. That, and red has a longer wavelength for our eyes to detect. And this makes it harder to see in the dark. So when the lights go down in the movie theater, it'll all be dark. If you were to take a Coca-Cola, place it in a bowl, and then put it into a solution that contains sodium hydroxide, the can will go through a chemical reaction that causes the aluminum can to dissolve, and revealing a plastic lining. And this shows how acidic the drink really is. And the colorful bread tags mean a lot more than just sealing the bread in a plastic package. The different colors are meant to help employees know when to restock the bread, but they can also help customers shop smarter. You see, each color represents a different day of the week the bread was baked. Blue for Mondays, green for Tuesdays, red for Thursdays, white for Fridays, and yellow for Saturdays. So the next time you shop for bread, you can find out which loaf is the freshest.
This is why you
I think the one that got to me the most, Seekers, is saying that there was iron in our cereal. I had no idea. I actually have to test that, man. Like, if I put a magnet in the cereal and see if it actually follows it. Considering that much iron, bro. The more you know.
always want to double check before getting into your car. 18-year-old Peyton Washington was shot 3 times after her and her friend entered a car that they thought was theirs. On April 2023, Peyton and her friend Heather were carpooling on their way home from cheer practice when Heather opened a car door that she thought was hers. 25-year-old Pedro Rodriguez was in the passenger seat, and once Heather realized that it wasn't her car, she apologized and walked away. But Pedro did not let that slide. Instead, he came out of his car and began shooting at the teens. The girls quickly got into their car and drove away, but Peyton was shot in the leg and back. She suffered life-threatening injuries and was airlifted to a nearby hospital. Her injuries were so bad that her spleen had to be removed, and now Pedro was charged with deadly conduct, and he may be spending 10 years in prison if convicted. But you know what, guys? This actually happens more often than you think. I remember a couple years ago when I was just chilling in my car at night, and 2 random men just came in and thought I was their Uber. I was caught off guard, and I was ready to just jump out of my car. And then we kind of looked at each other, and one of the guys was like, "This is our Uber, right?" And I'm like, "No, this is not your Uber." It's a fight or flight situation. That's how I felt in the moment. But in this case, these girls, they apologized, closed the car door, and walked away. And this guy still came after them with a gun and shot them. So I don't know. I can't justify that.
You can't, and he's only gonna get 10 years for that. I'm telling you, man, the justice system, it's like this sometimes. Twin paradox theory.
Let me get a pair of twins. All right? They're born the same time, they're the same age. And now one of them, I will send off at 90% the speed of light. And the other I'll keep down here on Earth. So we can ask, how does their aging rates compare? Okay? Turns out, this twin that I've already sent, his clock ticks 44% as fast as this twin's clock. Our clock, here on Earth.
Okay.
So, this twin is aging more slowly than this one. That's at 90% the speed of light. Let's pump it up some more. How about 99% the speed of light? Now the time ticks at only 14% the rate, as it does back here on Earth. How about 99.9%? We're getting closer and closer to the speed of light itself. And at that speed, the clock ticks only 4.5% as fast. So, what does this mean? I'll tell you what it means. This twin that traveled for 5 years and comes back, if they went at 99.9% the speed of light, after 5 years, they're 5 years older.
Whoa.
We have aged 110 years.
Damn, what the hell?
It's called the twin paradox.
This is how a fight over a parking spot led to this man losing his life. On March 8th, 2020, 19-year-old Ricky Lafargue took a parking spot that 31-year-old Tuan Nguyen and his wife were waiting for at the Lenox Square shopping mall in Atlanta. Immediately after this happened, both Ricky and Tuan said some things to each other, but then they both went their separate ways and entered the mall at different times. You would think that they would go on about their days and forget this ever happened, but that wasn't the case. Ricky Ricky, who was with 4 of his friends, later decided to follow Twan out of the mall and confront him again. During the altercation, Ricky pulled out his handgun and shot Twan in the back of the head, instantly taking his life. Then the 4 men tried to flee in their SUV, but then they crashed, so they ran away and Ricky dropped his hat and the gun. Ricky's defense argued that he tried to hit Twan with the gun and it accidentally went off. But the surveillance footage in the mall clearly shows what exactly happened. And what's so shocking about this is that this man did all of this in broad daylight with so many witnesses.
It was pure evil. With a gun pointed to the back of that victim's head when you pulled the trigger and killed a man, leaving his family and his child with their father.
Ricky, who is now 24 years old, was finally sentenced and the judge gave him life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Sometimes
Over a parking
when
space,
dogs have
man.
to look very mean and threatening, they actually have to redo their tails with CGI because they won't stop wagging because they're doing such a good job acting. When bees run into each other, they actually make like a little whoop sound. Fish are actually able to recognize their owners. There's this weird misconception with people that they think that fish can't see out of the glass of their aquarium, but they actually have surprisingly good eyesight.
Really? Okay. The more you
Of
know.
course I can talk about snakes, and because you asked so politely, I'm gonna ruin your day. Here's all the ways this snake can turn you into an... Actually, let's do something different. This is a hog-nosed snake, although I like to call him the possum tail. Why? This anxiety noodle's so afraid of the world. If they get pressed by it like a kitten, they'll straight up fake their own death. I'm talking about they'll fully commit to it. They'll release the smell of expiration, if you know what I mean. They'll let their tongues hang out of their mouths like a cartoon. Hoggies will even straight up deuce themselves in the process, just to sell it, right out of the playbook. You see, the garter snake had a problem. They hibernate, and when they come out, the ratio can be something like hundreds of males for just one female. So to fight statistics, some snakes will cosplay as a female. They'll even release the same pheromones as a female, and will use that to lead a bunch of guys on. And right when the down-back Medusa braids are about to tie themselves into a knot, the cross-dressing male snake slips away to hook up with the actual she-snake. Speaking of mother snakes, turns out there's snakes that actually will look after their kids, and I don't just mean babysitting eggs. Snakes like the African rock python will look after their little snakelets a couple weeks after they hatch, which makes it a snake anomaly. The smallest snake in the world is the Barbados thread snake, which can comfortably sleep on a quarter. It's believed there's a type of snake that has this weird odd couple type relationship with screech owls, where the owls keep blind snakes in their nest to be housekeepers to basically eat all the stuff that can make the little owlets sick. In exchange, the snakes get free room and board as well as the added bonus of not getting put on a shirt. You ever see a snake drinking water? No? Well, here you go, and the more you know.
Wow. I never knew the smallest they could be on a damn quarter. That's mind blown.
In movies where they use dogs as actors, editors have to commonly CGI another tail on the dog because they won't stop wagging. Because guinea pigs are considered very social animals, it is illegal and considered animal abuse in Switzerland to own just one. All of the card against Mr. Rogers wore on camera were knit by his mother. These take naps in flowers. This penguin that lives in Norway was actually recently officially knighted. Otters hold each other's hands when they sleep so that their mate won't float away. Van Gogh didn't start painting until his late 20s. Whatever you're going through in life right now, it's not going to last forever. Follow for more.
Hey man, that Van Gogh tip. I guess it just goes to show you, man, it doesn't matter, I guess, how old you are. If you want to achieve something, do something, it's never too late, man, to follow your dreams, to do what you want to do.
Wholesome facts that'll make your day slightly better, part 1.
Okay.
When a human sees a puppy, a chemical called dopamine is released in the brain. Elephants also release dopamine when they see people, meaning that they think we're cute in the same way we think puppies are cute. There's a YouTube channel called Dad, How Do I that teaches young people things that would typically be taught by a father figure. From how to change a tire to how to tie a tie, fans of the channel think it's super helpful. When you're on a walk with your dog and they stop to take a dump, you may notice that your fluffy friend is staring at you as they poop. They do this because they're in a defenseless position and they're trusting you to keep them safe. There are more public libraries in the US than McDonald's. A man who played Mickey Mouse ended up marrying the woman who played Minnie Mouse, meaning that true love actually exists.
What do you know, man?
Fun facts
you wouldn't believe are true. Godzilla is an actual citizen of Japan. Some species of jellyfish are actually immortal. The patent for a fire hydrant was destroyed in a fire. Outer space is only 62 miles away. You could drive there in an hour. If you flattened your lungs out, they would have about the same surface area as a tennis court. Saturn is the lightest planet. If there was a big enough body of water, it would float. An astronaut spacesuit runs about $12 million. The moon looks close, but you can actually fit every planet in the solar system between the Earth and the moon. In a lab here on Earth, scientists created a plasma that reached a temperature of 9.9 trillion degrees Fahrenheit. Over 50,000 people on Earth have alien abduction insurance policies.
For the first time in Japan,
What the
right
hell?
now, diapers for adults are starting to outsell diapers for babies. The country's birth rate hit yet another all-time low last year. And estimates show that in less than 50 years, 40% of their population will be over the age of 65. Diaper maker OG Holdings announced last year that they would stop making nappies for babies and instead focus on ones for adults. And another said that their revenue from adult diaper sales is already double that of those meant for babies. And the thing is, it's not just Japan. Birth rates are falling in countries around the world, not Nigeria though. And by 2050, research from the Lancet shows over 3/4 of the world's countries will not have high enough fertility rates to sustain their population size over time. So if we don't go out with a bang, let's try not go out with the win part.
It's crazy. I didn't know that the freaking world's, I guess, birth rate's declining. What do you guys think is going on, Seekers? Too many people inside? It's crazy to think about, man. We could have a collapse like that. Edit.
You ever stop and think about the random animal rivalries of nature the average person knows nothing about? Take the leopard, arguably the most talented life taker in the feline family. Not only does a rosette warrior, those are rosettes, occupy more real estate than any other big cat. They have by far the longest grocery list, but not 20, not 30, but over 90 different animals in their diet. Not to mention from spending 0 hours in the gym, leopards might just have the craziest deadlift. Now take baboons, a pack-loving primate that weaponizes the always OP power of friendship. You see, divided baboons are leopard lunch meat. United in a baboon mafia can, will, and have jumped looming leopards and left them with a life lesson. And with more canines than a cop unit, baboons are not pushovers. Hey, but don't feel too bad for the leopard. Her luck changes as soon as the sun goes down. Leopards have overpowered night vision, and you'd be right if you said they abuse it. They'll make sure they do their food shopping in the darkest conditions possible. We're talking about an aerial assassin parkouring from branch to branch like an Olympic-level gymnast, and that's how a member of the monkey militia can get turned into mincemeat. So when it comes to leopards and baboons, yeah, it's on sight. That conflict is generational. But you gotta remember, they're just two animals trying to survive. You can root for the monkey, but just know, every time the baboon gets away, that's a leopard cub that has sleeper dinner. And mama leopard can't provide for her family without possibly turning a monkey minor into an orphan. Leopards and baboons are just two of the thousands of mammals navigating the gauntlet of the wild. And to see them and many more in action, Mammals is a series narrated by the always transcendent Sir David Attenborough, launching this July on BBC America, AMC Plus, and other platforms worldwide. And with some rarely ever recorded footage like this, yeah, it's not something you want to miss. You know.
Photos that seem really innocent but are actually heartbreaking. Part 1. This is Magda Newman, and she seems like a perfectly happy, normal pregnant woman who's about to become a mom. However, her giving birth would be anything but normal, and that moment that was supposed to be so special soon turned into something terrifying. Magda went into labor for nearly 17 hours, and when she gave birth, she realized that something was very wrong. She quickly realized that the baby wasn't breathing or crying, and the baby's face was severely disfigured with no ears, no cheekbones, and no eye sockets. It turns out her baby was born with a super rare genetic disorder called Treacher-Collins syndrome, and if doctors didn't act fast, the baby would soon be dead from lack of oxygen. The baby's name was Nathaniel, and by the time he was 1 year old, he'd already gone through 11 different surgeries. And by the time he was 11, he already went through 54 different major surgeries. This story does have a happy ending, because today Nathaniel's living a perfectly normal life. Nathaniel even has a book and a movie made after him called Wonder, and his story continues to inspire countless people around the world to this day.
Okay, so that's what the movie's based on.
Secretly changed. Part 3. First, Pringle cans have shrunk. Since 2016, they've shrunk in width from 5.2 ounces to 4.7 ounces. Now, the company says that this is because their new manufacturing company in Malaysia has different equipment. But it doesn't excuse the fact that you can fit one of the new cans into an original can perfectly. Even the chips themselves have shrunk too. Gatorade has also fallen victim to shrinkflation by giving their customers less energy. They released new bottle designs in 2022, and while it's the same height, they decreased the amount of liquid contained by 14%. And they tricked customers into paying a slightly higher price by making it look like it had the same amount as the original bottle. Toblerone in 2016 changed the formation of its triangular bar, giving us less chocolate in the process. You see, they took out 2 of the peaks and widened the gaps between the remaining ones, and this reduced the cost of production by 10%. But yet they dare to still charge us the same price and keep them in their original packaging. And in 2016, Kraft Mac and Cheese removed its artificial preservative flavors from its recipe and decided to add more natural ingredients like turmeric and paprika. And this was after parents started to show concern for what their kids were putting into their bodies. However, just because these ingredients are more natural doesn't mean they weren't enhanced in labs. And no one noticed the change because it still tastes the same.
Here are historical facts.
Man, the things these companies, bro, would do in order to freaking make a quick buck, bro, and freaking produce the on their side how much they spend and still charge the same price, man. I haven't even noticed that with the Pringle cans. It's actually insane to think about, man.
I wish I didn't know. Number 1, King Herod executed his wife and then preserved her body in honey for 7 years. Some people even claim he had relations with it. Number 2, in 1184, a bunch of nobles met in a church in Erfurt, Germany. Their weight made the floor collapse, they fell into the latrine below, and many of them drowned in liquid poop. Number 3, Rasputin once bragged about not changing his underwear for 6 months, and food would often rot in his beard. Number 4, Lady Caroline Lamb was so obsessed with her ex-lover, Lord Byron, that she once sent him clippings of her pubic hair. Number 5, William Randolph Hearst is the inspiration behind Citizen Kane, the movie where Rosebud is famously a sled. In real life, Rosebud was reportedly Hearst's nickname for his mistress Marion Davies, but he referred to her lady parts. Number 6, Catherine Medici was just 14 when she married, but on her wedding night, her father-in-law stayed in the bedroom and watched until the marriage was fully consummated. Public weddings were a big thing. On William of Orange's wedding night, King Charles II watched from the sidelines and shouted encouragement. Number 7, Mozart loved bathroom humor and wrote letters to his family describing his farts in great detail.
Back in the day, man, it was weird secrets.
This is wild. An engineering company in Bharuch, India announced that they will be holding open interviews for 10 new positions at the company. But then, the next day, reports say that over 1,800 people showed up. Videos from outside the hotel where the interviews were taking place show so many people squeezed on the platform that the metal railing eventually broke, sending people flying off the edge. Reports say that the company was so overwhelmed by the amount of people showing up that they closed their doors to the hall of the interviews, leading to the situation you see here. Politicians in India were quick to use this video to highlight the problems in India's job market right now.
The biggest lottery winners and where they are now. In 2008, Jonathan Vargas became the youngest Powerball jackpot winner ever when he won $35.3 million at just 19 years old. The first thing he did with the money was buy his mom a brand new house and buy himself a Range Rover and a mansion. He then decided to fulfill his childhood dream and created his own wrestling TV show called WrestleLicious Takedown. The show featured scantily dressed women and sketch comedy, but apparently that wasn't enough to make it successful. It was quickly met with incredibly bad reviews, and after just 1 season, the show was cancelled. All of his other investments eventually failed as well, which reportedly left him bankrupt.
Let's talk about one of the most interesting and disturbing individuals in human history, Terrare, the man who could eat anything. Terrare was a Frenchman born around the year 1772 in the city of Lyon. From a young age, he developed an unusually large appetite, and as a result of this, his parents couldn't afford to provide for him, and as a young teen, he was kicked out of his house and told to fend for himself.
Damn.
As he grew older, his appetite grew with him, and he began to resort to eating grotesque things like live animals, whole cats, dogs, and even barrels full of corpse. As a way to make some money, Terrare began to work as a street performer, eating whatever people would give to him. However, even this was not enough to satisfy his appetite, and he would often resort to digging through the trash in order to find extra scraps of food on his off time. After the War of First Galatians broke out, Terrare enlisted in the military and began to work as a spy. He would swallow important documents, carry them across enemy lines, and then deliver them to officials on the other side. However, having no other qualifications, this didn't last very long, and he was eventually put into a military hospital due to his condition. During his stay at the Institute, they would perform a series of bizarre experiments in an attempt to cure him of his appetite. However, nothing worked, and after he was caught drinking the blood of other patients and accused of eating a toddler, they expelled him from the hospital. Just 4 short years later, Terrare caught a case of severe tuberculosis and died a rather gruesome death, which I will not discuss here. Comment what the weirdest thing you've ever eaten is, and follow for more.
Seekers, what is the weirdest thing you have ever eaten, man? I need you guys to tell me down below. That, man, that's an eerie story. He could eat anything off animals and all that. Yes.
What monster plans the murder of their child on Halloween? This disturbed man named Ronald Clark O'Brien. On Halloween in 1974 in Deer Park, Texas, Ronald took his 8-year-old son's life by giving him this candy that was filled with cyanide. From the outside in, Ronald seemed to have a pretty good life. He was married and had 2 kids, Timothy, who was 8 years old, and his daughter Elizabeth. He had a great job as an eye doctor, but Ronald was $94,000 in debt and he needed a way out. On this night, Ronald took his 2 kids to go trick-or-treating, and along came his neighbor with his kids as well. The routine that night was that Ronald would walk to the front doorstep with the kids to collect the candy while his neighbor stayed behind. In one of those house visits, Ronald managed to slip a few pixie sticks filled with cyanide in the kids' candy bag and made it seem like one of the houses gave it to them. When the kids got home, Timothy asked his father to open some candy, and Ronald purposely opened a pixie stick and gave it to Timothy and watched him eat it. Within just 1 hour, Timothy became extremely sick and passed away in the ambulance. Medical records quickly revealed that Timothy was poisoned with cyanide. Once they discovered that the cyanide was inside this specific candy, Ronald claimed that he got it from a house that they visited on that night. But after investigating, they discovered that no one was even in that house on that night, so Ronald was lying. The investigation turned towards Ronald and they discovered that he was asking around where he could find cyanide. But he became even more suspicious when they found out that he was in so much debt and that he took out a $20,000 life insurance policy on both his kids. And he took out this policy a month before Timothy passed away. And it gets worse. Ronald also called the life insurance company the morning after Timothy passed away to collect the money. He was charged with 1 count of murder and 4 counts of attempted murder and was sentenced to death. Ronald was executed in 1984, but he kept his innocence until the day he died. This man who worked at Harvard stole people's heads, brains, and skin from cadavers and sold them in the black market. 57-year-old Cedric Lodge was a Harvard Medical School morgue manager and just pleaded guilty to stealing and selling body parts from cadavers. He worked at Harvard for 30 years and ran a program where people donate their body parts for science, and it wasn't until recently that they found out he was stealing body parts. From 2018 to 2020, he secretly removed organs, brains, skin, hands, faces, and dissected heads after the bodies were used for research. Instead of disposing of the bodies, he took them home to New Hampshire. His wife was also in on this, and they sold the remains to buyers in different states. And they made good money doing this, apparently tens of thousands of dollars. Cedric pleaded guilty this week and faces up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Harvard did fire him in 2023 and called his actions a morally reprehensible betrayal. The school also insists that he did act alone and that no other Harvard employee was involved. But get this, some human remains were also found being sold on Facebook Marketplace.
Life hacks.
Do you guys believe the corruption just stopped there, or there could possibly be more to that story, Seekers? I don't know, that sounds like a freaking deep rabbit hole we might have to go down. His wife was in on it too, so who's to say some other people weren't in on it? You never know.
That everyone needs to know part 2. To remove a tight ring that's stuck on your finger, all you have to do is grab a string and tuck it under the ring. And then grab that same string and wrap it around your finger, and from there all you have to do is grab the other side and start pulling. The ring will magically remove itself. All you have to do to remove tape paper without ripping it is to hold the tape from both ends and start pulling really hard, which will then cause the tape to get removed super easily. If your house key broke in the lock for some reason, just get yourself a hot glue stick and place it inside the lock just like this, and just wait for it to dry a little bit and pull it really hard, and there you have it, your key is out.
Wow.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. The Voynich manuscript is an ancient book full of symbols and drawings that no one can translate till this day. Dracula was based on a real person. Vlad Dracula, a Romanian ruler that very much enjoyed watching people bleed to death. In 1963, the Bronx Zoo had an exhibition called The Most Dangerous Animal in the World. It was a mirror. Two fishermen used their dead friend's ashes as fishing bait and they caught the world's biggest carp. These are how Halloween costumes looked like in the 30s. If Earth stopped spinning for 1 second, everything and everyone will die instantly. A new homeowner found an old doll boarded up in his wall holding a note saying she killed a family in this house. This house is named the John Lawson House, and nobody knows who lives here. Every day, this porch is occupied by a number of female mannequins. The number of mannequins, the positions they're in, and the clothes they wear are changed every day, and no one knows who is doing this and why. Like for part 18.
Stay away from that house, man. John Lawson's house, noted.
Scary facts that will make your skin crawl. BT.6. Phobias are based on how we died in our past life. Maybe that's why we're afraid to do things we never tried, because it's how we died. Experts said that dark areas, such as abandoned houses and vacant rooms, are the possible places where you can feel the presence of ghosts. So if you're alone right now while reading this post, there is a chance that someone is watching you. If you're awake at night without a reason, then it means that you are awake in someone else's dreams.
Really? Interesting. Something standing out.
Scary fun facts until the Orbeez overflow. There are microscopic mites that live in your eyelashes. Being buried alive happens so often on accident that they've now invented safety coffins. In the 1800s, dentures were made with real teeth from the deceased. Radio station UVB-76 has been broadcasting since 1982. All it does is make creepy noises and nobody knows where it's broadcasting from. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. The final part of Mount Everest that you have to climb is known as Rainbow Valley. They call it that because all you see is all the different colored jackets from the frozen hikers. And it looks like I'm out of time. Follow for more fun facts.
Wow, okay.
Disturbing facts that may ruin your day. You are the oldest that you have ever been and the youngest that you will ever be. Your bed absorbs 26 gallons of your sweat every year. There are 15 dead people for every one person alive. Science can't measure exactly how strong a gorilla is, so there's no sure way on how to contain them. The gorilla enclosures at zoos are just based on trust. Every 18 minutes, someone in the United States has a brain aneurysm that ruptures. Vampire moths are real and can feed on the blood of humans. A jar of peanut butter contains 10 or more rodent hairs and can contain up to hundreds of insect fragments. Big Bird almost joined NASA's Challenger mission to help kids become more interested in space. Millions of kids would have watched Big Bird and the Challenger space shuttle explode on live television. Follow for more.
Scary facts that will give you nightmares, part 5. First up, did you know that pigs can eat literally anything, including humans? One thing a lot of people don't know about pigs is that there have been many records of farmers dying because their pigs ate them. This is usually because while tending to the pigs, the farmers will run into an accident like falling or something, and then the pigs will feast on their body. Next up, have you ever heard of fatal familial insomnia? Well, it's a rare genetic disease that can be inherited and makes it impossible for someone to sleep for months. Since this type of insomnia can last for so long, it can leave someone so exhausted that they develop high blood pressure, weight loss, severe exhaustion, and then death. And lastly, did you know that trees can grow inside of your lungs? In Russia, doctors were performing surgery on a man because they thought he had lung cancer, but instead of a tumor, they found a 5-centimeter tree branch in his lungs. They later found out that he swallowed a fir bud, which then grew into a tree branch.
We made dire bees almost 70 years ago, and we have not stopped paying for it. In the 1950s, folks flew in African honeybees to Brazil because they figured they could breed them with European honeybees in the hopes of making a hybrid better bee. One that was more productive than Euro bees and less on-site than Afro bees, because Afro bees are black Air Force tier of trouble. Brazilian beekeepers used excluder screens to keep the African queens from getting out. Problem is, they did not tell the new guys. Someone saw the screen screening and was like, oh, we can't have that.
and removed the screen, sending 26 African queens and swarms of Eurobees into Brazil, which quickly led to Africanized honeybees, or more known as killer bees. You see, generational trauma then made these African bees that much more trigger happy. Normally, a European queen bee will usually send out 20 to 30 attack bees at once. African honey queens unload half the whole clip, sending thousands, sometimes 30,000 attack bees at once. Not only that, but they chase people further than Eurobees and sting 10 times as much, with cases of people being tailgated by an angry swarm for a quarter of a mile. There's even stories of swarms waiting directly above a body of water so that the moment the runner comes up for air, all he gets is smoke. Over 1,000 people have been turned past tents by an air force of spite flies. And after being released in Brazil in '57, they hit America in the '90s like Will Smith, and left their mark like the Fresh Prince left on Chris. And to add insult, they also somehow nerfed the honey industry, so nature really slapped us for cutting corners. And today, Africanized honeybees are like a rash infecting the US Southwest. Moral of the story, be better or be turned into letters, 3 in particular, the more you know.
The strangest places in the world, part 1. Firstly, on top of a hill in Pennsylvania, some stones can be found that shouldn't actually be there, because there's no nearby high terrain where they could have originated. These are called the ringing rocks, because whenever something hits these stones, they make a strange ringing noise.
Weird.
Next is the Petrifying Well in England, where water flows from a rock and turns whatever it touches into stone. As you can see, people often leave items like hats, teddy bears, or even bicycles, which appear to have already been turned into stone. Some people believe there's a mystical power, but the scientific reason behind this is the unusually high mineral content in the water, which forms a hard mineral shell on any object it comes into contact with. And within a few months, everything essentially becomes a stone statue.
Stone water.
The parents of 20-year-old Sudishka Konaki believe that their daughter drowned in the ocean in the Dominican Republic and are pushing authorities to declare her deceased. Sudishka's parents also said that they don't believe Joshua Wright, who was the last person seen with their daughter before she went missing, to be involved in her death. Joshua also testified that Sudishka's parents hugged and thanked him for trying to save their daughter's life. Now, authorities were really surprised that Sudishka's parents asked to declare their daughter deceased after only 12 days of her going missing, when usually investigations go on for months before they stop looking for someone. But I don't know, in this case, it seems like their parents are genuinely convinced that Joshua didn't do anything to hurt their daughter, and I guess after seeing all the surveillance footage of both of them together before she went missing, the only other possibility is that she drowned in the ocean. This is the last time Sudishka and Joshua were seen together at the resort, and a lot of people have speculated that perhaps Sudishka was abducted on the beach after Joshua fell asleep, because remember, they were both really intoxicated. But I don't know, that seems very unlikely, especially at a resort in the Dominican Republic where, for the most part, it's pretty safe.
Animal group names that should be illegal for how happy they make me for free. A group of ferrets is called a business, which means I can finally show this picture without being out of context. And if that sounds too professional, just remember this first Slinky's Latin name means stinky weasel thief. A group of vultures is called a wake, but only when they're eating. When they're flying, they're called a kettle. A group of porcupines is a prickle. A prickle of porcupines, which also describes how they mate. A plurality of platypus is a paddle. Several sloths are a snuggle. A group of baboons in one place is a congress. No comment. A group of crows is scientifically referred to as a murder. Did you know crows will investigate the cause of death when a member of their murder croaks? They'll also seemingly mourn the dead and grieve the loss of their... never mind. A group of ravens is an unkindness, and for the record, if you want to know the difference, if you're wondering if it's a crow or raven, it's a crow. And if you're wondering what in the Edgar Allan Nevermore looking... it's probably a raven. Unkindness comes from the idea that ravens are deadbeat parents that often evict their chicks before they're even ready. They're also called a conspiracy. You know what else is a conspiracy? A lot of lemurs. This entire scene is a conspiracy, and the biggest one is that ring-tailed lemurs are female-dominated, so King Julian is actually a queen and a Julia. A group of parrots is a pandemonium, and once upon a time, a parrot was kicked out of a former president's funeral because he kept swearing through the service, so yeah, pandemonium. And lastly, a group of alpacas is a herd, but an alpaca giving birth is called an unpacking. Send it back.
Another cold case has been solved thanks to DNA. On December 23, 1983, 24-year-old Ronald Lee Novak was found dead in his home in rural Walker, Iowa. He was found by a friend with his hands tied behind his back in an unheated room in his apartment in the dead of winter in Iowa. He had been beaten and shot, but it was determined that his cause of death was a combination of his injuries, shock, and hypothermia. Investigators believed he was killed in a robbery or burglary gone wrong, but they had no suspects, and unfortunately, his case went cold. But over the last decade, DNA from Ronald's case was being tested, including DNA from his clothing and from a hammer found in his home believed to be used in the attack. Genetic genealogy allowed investigators to narrow the DNA down to 3 brothers, and then further DNA testing revealed that it was likely that 64-year-old Michael Schappert, who now lives in Fairview, Oregon, was the likely killer. The investigation revealed that Schappert, quote, likely went to Novak's home with the intent to rob him of money and marijuana. And now, more than 40 years after Ronald Novak's murder, he has been arrested. Schappert was arrested in Oregon and is being held there pending extradition to Iowa, and he is facing first-degree murder charges. The case is not completely closed, though, because it is believed that at least one more suspect was involved in Ronald's murder. Lynn County Sheriff Brian Gardner said, quote, by naming a suspect, it may cause other people to now come forward that maybe weren't willing to do so previously. Or maybe this has jogged their memory some 41 years later. Ronald's sister said after the arrest that the investigation has been a long ride for the family, and she didn't know if she would ever see this day come. She said, quote, you start to give up hope that there will be an answer. I wanted it so bad. We look forward to the trial. At least now Ronald's family has answers, and hopefully he will soon be getting the justice he deserves. Rest in peace, Ronald.
These are some...
Rest in peace. Justice will come to you sooner or later.
If you could rack your brain right now to ask yourself what is the most disturbing Disney Channel original movie, which one would you pick? If you chose Don't Look Under the Bed, you're correct, because the movie actually almost never even made it to television. Any of the sequences that did eventually make the cut were considered so disturbing, this is actually one of the only Disney Channel original movies that has a TVPG rating. Anne Sweeney, who was the president of Disney Channel at the time, as well as countless other executives, had a lot of issues with this film. And even to this day, there are still some sequences, some scenes that have never seen the light of day. They were not going to be included in the movie. And I think in part, the credit should go to the director, who was really trying to creatively push the boundaries of what could be included in children's horror. Even just beyond the disturbing imagery, they explored some pretty dark themes in a children's movie, starting to play with psychological horror when Frances can see things that everybody else thinks she's crazy for. In 2006, Disney Channel had to pull it from the October catalog. It will not be on Disney Channel again.
YouTubers who became murderers, part 1. This was the YouTuber Elliot Rogers' last video.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you.
This was called the Day of Retribution. The son of a Hollywood filmmaker killed 6 people. Roger left the car and saw students across the street. He shot at them, taking the life of Veronica Weiss and Catherine Cooper. The suspect proceeded on foot and fired several rounds into the deli. One of the bullets struck and took the life of a student named Christopher Martinez. Then he drove down the left side of the road so he could fire at 2 pedestrians. Police then came running across the park, and Roger fired at them as he drove. But he was struck in the left hip. After he hit a cyclist, he crashed his car into the back of an SUV.
This guy in Brazil would dress up as Batman with a red hood. He even had his own homemade weapons, like the Batarang and everything. He would break into suspected criminals' homes and just beat them senseless. This is as close to lore-accurate Batman as we might get. His name is Rodrigo Rodrigues da Silva. He was also known as the Punisher of Paranaíba in Brazil. He was arrested back in 2023. When he broke in, he had like bladed gauntlets, like the Batarang, a utility belt full of different weapons and stuff. He also told police he had intentions to use all of his weapons on the person's home that he broke into. In Brazil, homicides are very, very prevalent in the country. He got kind of sick of all these criminals getting away with it, so he decided to take justice into his own hands. I forgot one more thing. He also had a submachine gun on him. It's not pictured here, but crazy. And mind you, these are suspected criminals, so maybe some of these aren't confirmed criminals, but it's just crazy to think about, Batman breaking into your home and just beating you senseless at night. And the work that he put in to make his suit and his weapons and everything, crazy stuff. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Her father. You ever real life Batman, bro, in Brazil? How come that didn't make that in the news or something, man? This is my first time hearing it, bro. He real life tried to become Batman, bro. He had the weapons, the batarangs, all that. That's freaking crazy to think about, man. We got a real life Batman before GTA 6.
Judith Eva Barsi was born on June 6 of 1978 in Los Angeles, California. Her parents, Joseph and Maria, were originally from Hungary and had met at a restaurant in California. From a very young age, Maria was fascinated with Hollywood and was determined to make her daughter famous. Judith was discovered while she was ice skating one day and was asked to come out in a commercial. From there, it was just the start of her career, and she came out in the movies All Dogs Go to Heaven and Land Before Time. Judith was very small for her age, and she even started taking hormone injections to make herself grow. Her success helped her family thrive, and she was making about $100,000 a year, and her parents used that to buy a 3-bedroom house in Los Angeles. Although Judith's career was thriving, something sinister was going to happen behind the scenes. Judith's father had drinking problems, and he was angry with his daughter's success. He had even gotten arrested 3 times for driving under the influence. Many of Maria's friends told her to leave her husband, but she refused because she was scared that she was going to lose the house, her belongings, and that he would unalive her somehow. On July 27th of 1988, around 8:30 a.m., the family's neighbor was watering her garden when she heard an explosion. That neighbor rushed to call 911 because she was afraid that Joseph had unalived his family. That neighbor was right because Joseph had shot Maria and Judith in the head and then poured gasoline everywhere. Judith and Maria were buried together in Hollywood Hills, California, and Joseph is said to be in an unmarked grave.
This might be the most insane case of police cover-up I've ever seen in my entire life. Arrest has finally been made in the murder of Sandra Birchmore, who all of this started back in 2010 when Sandra was just 12 years old. She enrolls in the county's police youth program where her alleged killer, Officer Matthew Farwell, is an instructor. At some point, Officer Farwell, who's 27 years old, begins grooming Sandra, and by the time she's 15, they're having a full-on intimate relationship, if you know what I mean. When Sandra turns 18, she's obviously aged out of the program, but maintains a relationship with Officer Farwell, who is married with children. In October of 2020, Sandra tells Farwell that she wants a child, and he apparently agrees to get her pregnant in exchange for her silence about the statutory R word and extramarital affair. 2 months later, Sandra's pregnant, and after Farwell finds out, he becomes physically violent with Sandra. She told multiple friends that Farwell had pushed her, shoved her, and even placed her in a chokehold. In January the following year, someone called the police department and leaked this information. When the employee told Farwell about this phone call, he became visibly angry and told them to keep this information secret. Within days of that phone call, Farwell starts to allegedly plan Sandra's murder. All of a sudden, he wants a spare key to her apartment. 2 days after that, he starts canvassing her apartment, looking for places to carry out the murder. He inspected her bathroom closet, specifically places where items could be hung, and his behavior was strange enough that Sandra told multiple friends that she was concerned. A week later, on February 1st, Farwell enters Sandra's apartment wearing a face mask where police say he strangled her to death. And by the way, while Farwell was allegedly committing this murder, his wife was in the hospital giving birth. Family ended up hiring a private medical examiner who did rule it as a homicide. After years of a federal investigation and her family refusing to stay silent, Matthew Farwell has finally been indicted for her murder.
He is interested in blondes. I'm not blonde, I'm a brunette. So I'd go in the shower, take fingernail clippers, and just cut my hair off. Trying to do everything I can to get his attention again. I would have given anything to that man. I would have bought the sun, the moon, and the stars and gave it to him on a platter. And that hurts me that I loved him that much.
Why does it hurt you?
Because I feel like no one is ever gonna love him as much as I loved him at that time. And it makes me feel better knowing that he's truly sorry for hurting me. But it doesn't change anything. Like, I married Ryan. I have a marriage now. I'm wearing this wedding ring that belonged to Ryan's mom. Like, I have a commitment to my husband. And I want to keep that.
Talking about her ex.
But what's gonna happen when Ryan and I have an argument? Is that little thought in the back of my head gonna say, Ken is single?
Jeffrey Dahmer targeted this 14-year-old boy. The police found him naked, bleeding from his rectum and everything. And Jeffrey Dahmer convinced the police to return him. He told the police that was his boyfriend. They had an argument. Police returned him to Dahmer, and then he got mutilated that night and killed. His name was Konorak Sympthosophone. And like I said, he was found naked, drugged, and bleeding from his rectum on a street corner, and police returned him to Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, dude, if you're seeing blood on somebody, maybe investigate, ask some more questions. His death was also absolutely horrific. He had a hole drilled into his head, and then Jeffrey Dahmer poured acid inside of it to try to recreate a real-life zombie out of him. He was trying to melt the kid's brains out. I think if the kid acted out and got arrested by police, he would have had a better chance to live. This is just so crazy that you would see the kid in this condition and decide to return him to, like, the person that's claiming to be his boyfriend. Hell, even if it was his boyfriend, right? Just look at the situation he's in, dude. Just investigate more. There's obviously some sort of abuse going on here. But it is sickening how much Jeffrey Dahmer actually got away with. This is just one of his many sick and twisted ways that he killed people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
People are just finding out about the 500-year-old girl who is coming back to life. Stick with me because you're in for a wild ride, as you can see here. I did a video on this a long time ago, but for some reason it's circulating around again right now, freaking people out online and on social media, so here we go. So this mummy right here is known as La Doncella, or the Children of the Lulacana. These different mummies here are all part of the same family, the Children of the Lulacanu, where this group of mummies were found preserved at the top of the Lulacano volcano. But just wait, because it's crazy. This is the Lulacano volcano, which they were found right at the summit of this. And as you can imagine, it's pretty high up and pretty damn cold. The first crazy part is that look how realistic she looks right now, and she's over 500 years old. Or with all of these people being believed to have lived in the 14 and 1500s, and it's also believed they were and sacrificed when they were only around 13 years old, then buried and left at the top of this. Now where it gets even more interesting, of course, the archaeologists found these preserved bodies with all the body features and everything still being there after 500 years. Normally you'd be gone, mate. But this is how you might imagine someone who had passed away about 20-30 years ago at tops. But by far the craziest bit out of all of this, I know you're waiting for it, she's coming back to life. Essentially, what happened is the scientists who were doing the test when they got these preserved mummies obviously wanted to figure out how the hell is this possible. Of course, from being at the altitude and those sort of temperatures, it froze her body and her insides. So they found her organs perfectly intact, healthier than probably some of you, and even frozen blood still in her body and in her veins. So she was basically the first person to get cryogenically frozen. Now, no, she's not necessarily coming back to life, just going to get up and start walking again. All of these mummies are now in a museum. But the point of what people have been saying is she could technically come back to life. I actually saw a few scientists have said that it could potentially be possible, but it's not exactly going to be the easiest thing in the world, so I highly doubt it.
And they said her organs intact. Blood and stuff still circulating. Certainly a chance, but like I said, I don't know. Mummies? This shit getting crazy, bro.
Correct! If someone is trying to make you decide in a hurry, they are probably giving you a bad deal. Walk away. If someone has a panic attack, start breathing regularly and loudly. The person that is panicking will subconsciously start breathing in rhythm with you. When a group of people laugh, they tend to look at the person they like the most. Nervousness and excitement have the same body reaction, so if you're nervous for a speech, trick yourself into thinking you're actually excited. If you think someone is watching you, fake a yawn, then watch them. Get someone to contribute to an idea and they will more likely accept it. If you whisper to someone, it's more likely they will whisper back even if there's no good reason to lower your voice. If you want to make someone feel uncomfortable, look at their forehead while you're talking to them. If you want somebody to open up to you, ask them a question. If the person only partially answers it, remain silent and keep eye contact. This will pressure the person into talking more. If you want to be more persuasive, reduce the use of the words I think and I believe. Okay. Touching someone on their shoulder or on their knee creates a stronger emotional bond with that person. Chew gum if you are still nervous. Our brains assume that if we are eating, then we are not in any immediate danger, lowering our fight or flight response. When you approach a group of people, notice if they turn their feet towards you or away from you. If their feet point away from you, you are probably not welcome. Subtly nodding when people are talking to you indicates that you are genuinely interested in what they are having to say and they're going to like you more. If you take a moment to look at someone's eye color when meeting them, you'll be giving them the perfect amount of eye contact. If there is a mirror behind where you are ordering, you are less likely to be rude because nobody wants to see themselves actually be rude. If you buy the first pitcher at the bar with your friends, you'd be surprised how far you could go by saying, I bought the first one. If someone is making jokes at your expense, act like you can't hear them and ask them to repeat it multiple times. By the time they say it a third or fourth time, nobody's laughing. When someone remembers you, they are most likely going to remember the first memory and the last memory of you. So make sure you always leave a good last impression too. After you have learned how to do something new and have done it yourself, The fastest way to retain that information is to teach somebody else. If you have a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out, try and listen to the whole song all the way through while singing it. Your brain is treating the song like an unfinished task in your subconscious. Plan something for every Wednesday that you can look forward to. You'll start to look forward to it on Monday, and by the time Wednesday comes around, you're already halfway through the week and almost to the weekend.
Wow.
If you ask someone to do a small favor for you, their subconscious mind is going to register that they like you because they're doing a favor for you. Showing the palms of your hands while talking to someone subconsciously communicates that you have nothing to hide and that you can be trusted. Whenever you're introducing a new idea to someone and you lead with the words, "This might not be for you, but," it intrigues their interest and makes it feel like it probably is for them. If you need to remember to do something tomorrow, put something in your room out of place. If you don't want to get out of bed, throw your pillow across the room. The next day, you will see this item out of place and it will jog your memory of what you need to accomplish. If you're procrastinating, just stop telling yourself how much work you have to do. This will overwhelm you. Instead, tell yourself you only have to work for 5-10 minutes, and then you're likely going to continue working past those minutes. People who are lying will normally blink more than normal, hide the palms of their hands, glance up to the right, mess with their hair, or use abnormally long sentences. If you're trying to get over a breakup, do not use fictional scenarios. Imagining your person with someone new is only going to make you more angry and sad about something that's not even real. If you want to create a deeper connection with someone you're interested in, ask them these two questions. What do you think we have in common? And what do you like most about me? If you are suffering from racing thoughts, use the 3-3-3 rule. Name 3 things you see, 3 things you hear, and 3 parts of your body. This will help center your mind and bring you back to the present. When someone apologizes for something that you don't feel like was that big of a deal to apologize for, they're probably telling you subconsciously what actually bothers them if it was done to them. If they apologize for interrupting you, they probably really just don't like being interrupted themselves. Follow for more psychology hacks.
If you're thinking about going to Colombia, you might want to stay away from the dating apps because what happened to this man is wild. So this American guy traveled to Medellin, went on Bumble to meet women, and met her. They end up going on a date one night, then he brings her back to his place and she spiked his drink. This man completely knocks out and she steals all his money, his phone, and his computer. He then eventually wakes up 20 hours later in his hotel and then he goes to police and he reports what happened to him. Police then tell him that he's so lucky to be alive because about 40 Americans have been killed recently from this. So fast forward, a month goes by. And this man in this video is out in the city and bumps into the same woman that almost took his life. That's where you see in the video, he's chasing her and she's trying to run away. I was looking into other stories very similar to this one, and last year, this 50-year-old man from Minnesota was talking to a woman online who lived in Colombia. He then flew into Medellin to meet her, and only a few weeks into his trip, he calls his brother and asks that he send him $2,000. His brother transfers the money and then never hears of him again. Police then found this man's body dumped in a wooded area. It turns out that he was kidnapped and held at gunpoint for the $2,000 ransom. And this is the thing, a lot of these male tourists don't seem to be scared because they think that they're meeting only women, but when, they're drugged and brought to the hotel, there's sometimes men there waiting for them. And let's just be clear, this isn't only happening in Colombia, it's happening in other foreign countries as well.
Imagine you go to Yeah, be careful, man, when you're traveling out to these other states, bro. Think you're trying to meet up with somebody? You have no idea who you're talking to, man. The internet's all a mirage, bro.
Up your 5-year-old from a play date. But when you go to the mom's house, he's not there. It's just this woman that you've never seen before, and she says she has no idea what you're talking about. Now, maybe it's just a misunderstanding, but when you go to dial the phone number of the mom who set up the play date, the phone number is disconnected. That's the premise of the new Peacock show, All Her Fault, that just came out, and I like it so much more than I thought I would. What I really like is that the show gets into who is at fault when a child goes missing, and based on the title of the show, All Her Fault, the mom is usually the one that gets blamed for everything. It's twisty, it's fun, it's also soapy than it is scary, so if you're worried about watching it as a parent, I would say you don't have to be.
So this girl screamed during a Beyonce concert, and if you've ever been to one of her shows, you know there's one big rule. When the music drops and everything goes quiet, you do not make a sound. It's not just some random fan superstition, it's kind of like an unspoken law. People even say Beyonce herself demands complete silence in those moments. She wants the crowd to stay still, to let the vibe feel almost magical. And right in the middle of that silence, this girl screamed. You can literally see on her face that she realized she messed up the second she did. But it was too late. The whole arena turned and looked at her, like she had just broken some sacred rule. Those side eyes were brutal. And that's when you start to wonder, because Beyonce has always had this air of mystery around her. Like during her shows, she'll sometimes flash this gesture that a lot of people think looks like the Illuminati sign. Of course, nobody really knows if that's true or just internet conspiracy talk. But seriously, the coincidences feel a little too wild to ignore.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. Michael said that he used to work as a paramedic, and one night he was trying to keep a man stable after a horrible car crash. He said that the ambulance tore through the street with the sirens screaming, but all that he could focus on was the guy gasping for breath on the stretcher. He was barely holding on after they pulled him from the wreckage. Michael said that he had an oxygen mask on him trying to keep him stable, when suddenly he ripped it off with this wild look in his eyes. "No, listen," he choked. "I saw them when they pulled me out. The horsemen, hooded, watching me." Michael said, "What? Who?" The man's icy fingers dug into his wrist. "They had no eyes," he said. His whole body shivered. "They're following us. I can hear them." Then, just like that, Michael said that he went still and flatlined. Michael said that for a second, all he could hear was the hum of the road beneath them. And then he says that maybe it was his imagination, but he swears that he heard hoofbeats, fast and heavy, keeping pace with the ambulance. This is horrifying. The rules are simple. 50 boys, 3 miles an hour, but if you stop walking, you die. And even though there's no finish line, no one knows how far the road goes, the only way to win is to be the last one alive. And with every mile, more boys are eliminated as the crowd cheers for who they think will be the champion. But why would anyone enter a contest like this? Is it because the prize is anything you could ever dream of, or because the only thing worse than dying is living the life that you walked away from? Some of the boys are doing it for the money. Some are doing it for the fame. But some of them just simply have nothing to lose. But if you want to see who's going to become the winner and just how far they have to go, check out The Long Walk in theaters September 12th. And guys, let me know, how far could you go?
Skinwalkers are back. Skinwalkers are creatures that can take on the form of your pets, like in this video. Their goal is simply to take your skin. Remember, I can only protect my followers who comment their name and share this video with a friend to warn them it might just save their life. Thankfully, this woman closed the door. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here to post this video. So if you ever come across an animal or person acting strangely, run as far as you can. I'll leave you with the terrifying ending.
What? What are you doing? Are you okay?
Weird.
Do you need help? No? Okay. I love you. Every time you do it. Love it.
This furniture store.
Have any of the Secrets ever seen a freaking Skinwalker before? I think they've seen one, man. That was weird, bro. I don't know if they dog picking up, the human personalities, man, but he was just laying straight out, bro. I've never seen that before.
The weirdest and most creepiest order, which led to the arrest of a man who was planning on kidnapping multiple children. This older man walked into a furniture store in Fort Worth and asked the employees if they carried triple bunk beds and if he could fit at least 3 kids in each bed. He said that in total, he wanted to fit at least 36 kids in these beds. Now, right away, these employees thought, okay, this is a weird request, but then thought maybe this man had a lot of grandkids or he was furnishing an Airbnb. Nevertheless, they took down his information. The workers decided to look up this man's name just in case, and when they searched Emery D. Gardner, of course, he was charged with essaying a child and was released in 2015. Now guys, this is where things get even more disturbing. So these employees decided to search up where he lives, and you can't tell me that this doesn't look suspicious. This man's house has bars on all his windows, on the front of the house, the back of his house, and he even has an additional fenced area covering the house. Apparently, people think that this was a more than one-man operation. People in that area also mentioned that there's a school literally located down the street from this house, which is so terrifying to even think about. This furniture store employee even went as far as going to his house to see it in person, and he described it as being super eerie. They did call police, and Emery was arrested. They didn't disclose what he was arrested for, but I'm thinking they most likely found something.
This is why you should never walk home alone at night. One night, a girl was at a nightclub with her friends. They were drinking and dancing the entire night. Her and her friends decided to leave at around 3 a.m., so she said goodbye and began to go home. But she couldn't find a taxi, so she decided to walk home. As she was walking, it was pitch dark out, and she thought she heard something moving in the bushes, so she began to walk faster. Suddenly, a man jumped out from behind a bush and blocked her path. His face was hideous. She tried to run, but he cornered her and grabbed her arms. The girl was screaming for her life and begging him to let her go. But the man's deformed face twisted into a creepy grin. The man then said to her, "Do you want death or smiley face?" She cried out, "Please just let me go." But the man said death or smiley face again. The girl didn't know what he meant, so she replied, "Smiley face." The man then pulled out a knife and sliced the corners of her mouth, all the way up to her ears. Now she had the same deformed smile as the man.
Here's some stuff you probably didn't know about The Shining. The director Stanley Kubrick kept the actress Shelley Duvall completely isolated and told the rest of the cast to completely ignore her and never compliment her. Kubrick would often tell her that she was wasting everyone's time on set and that all of her ideas and suggestions were worthless. She was also forced to perform the iconic baseball bat scene 127 times. Her shaking hands and red puffy eyes are the result of genuine crying, and after they were done filming, she showed clumps of her own hair that had fallen out. She claimed that she would cry for up to 12 hours a day and eventually run out of tears completely. The iconic door scene took 3 whole days to film and used nearly 60 doors. It was mainly improvised, and Duvall had no idea what the scene was about. Because of this, her panic screams are actually real terror as Jack Nicholson tears down the door. It is even rumored that her desperate cries of "Please Jack" are aimed at the actor and not the character.
If you ever see this, you need to run fast. If you accidentally touch this, you're in some serious danger. This video is not a joke. Make sure you follow and like so everybody can see this. These plants may look completely harmless, but in fact they're extremely dangerous. These plants are actually called Gimpy Gimpy, and they're filled with thousands of tiny little spikes. All of the spikes are extremely poisonous, and if you accidentally touch one of these plants, you would have to get help as fast as possible. Make sure to share this with a friend so you can keep them safe.
Scientists taught animals how to use money, and they started race wars, gambling, and even paying females for lovemaking. The evil things that they did with the coins prove how similar humans and animals truly are. Gray parrots and monkeys are the smartest animals on the planet. Researchers gave each animal the same amount of small metal coins per day, and slowly taught them that they were valuable by trading them for food and toys. After a while, they started giving each monkey and parrot different amounts of coins per day to simulate income inequality. This made some animals very rich, while some had almost nothing and ruined the entire society. Some animals did share their coins with friends and family, trying to make sure that they could all eat, but some animals were truly greedy. The richest created casino-like games where they ruthlessly took as much money as they could from the other animals. Some of the smarter ones came together and combined their daily coins together and made a family budget so that they could all eat together every day. Then the most insane thing happened that caused the entire experiment to be shut down. The monkeys started paying to make love with each other, which made the most beautiful monkeys very, very rich.
That's crazy. The fact that they even simulated that with the animals, bro, and it kind of mirrored our human ecosystem, goes to show you, bro, how money can truly change things, man. Can't let it rule you, bro.
This chilling video has already shocked millions of people online. In it, we see 2 teenage girls, Sarah and Layla, live streaming to their followers, their cousins, living somewhere in South America. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The girls were chatting with viewers, telling stories and cracking jokes. But then something strange happened. Suddenly, the chat started blowing up with messages, "What's going on with Sarah? And why is she staring like that? Layla looked over and realized people were right. Sarah had gone completely silent. She just sat there staring at her cousin with this unsettling expression. Layla nervously asked what was wrong, but Sarah didn't answer. The more she tried to shake her out of it, the scarier it got. Layla begged her to stop messing around, saying it wasn't funny anymore. But Sarah kept her eyes locked on Layla without saying a word. Finally, Layla panicked and left the room. Sarah, still silent, slowly turned her gaze to the camera, staring straight into it. And that's when things got truly terrifying. When Layla returned and tried one last time to snap Sarah out of it, something happened that no one watching will ever forget.
Okay, I don't know what she was doing.
The cat is just coming in on me. The wind is so bad. I've just been sitting here like this for a while.
This is YouTuber Gabby Petito, and her death is about to spark a manhunt that is about to grip the nation. Gabby was a young, vibrant, creative 22-year-old who, above everything else, was in love. Along with all these things, Gabby also loved to travel very much, and she actually documented a lot of her life on her YouTube channel, where she would be traveling in her van life with her fiance, Brian. But behind these curated images and clips that we got to see online, something much darker was boiling over. In July 2012, Gabby and Brian would leave New York in a white Ford Transit van heading west to explore national parks. But on August 12th, things would change. Police in Moab, Utah would actually pull the couple over after a 911 call was placed after Brian allegedly slapped Gabby.
I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean.
Afterwards, officers would eventually label this as a mental health crisis, and no charges were filed. And unfortunately, the video that you just saw was the last confirmed video that we have available of Gabby Petito being alive. Days later, communication from Gabby would stop altogether. On August 24th, she had FaceTimed her mom for the last time, and on August 27th, a witness sees Brian and Gabby arguing at a restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. Gabby's crying, and Brian was furious. And on August 30th, Gabby's mother would receive a chilling text, no service in Yosemite. But Gabby was never in California. That message couldn't have been from her, and authorities believe that the message was actually sent by Brian. On September 1st, Brian would actually return home to Florida by himself. He also would return home with Gabby's van with no explanation, no report, nothing. He would immediately get a lawyer and refuse to speak to police. And then Gabby's family would eventually report her missing on September the 11th. But on September 19th, everyone's worst fear would come true, as Gabby's body would be found in the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. She had been strangled to death, and coroners had announced that her body had been out there for 3 to 4 weeks, which means she likely died the day after that restaurant argument. But Brian had vanished. On September 13th, he told his parents that he was going for a hike in the Carlton Reserve nearby his house, but he never would return home.
Yes, I am me, if you please.
Do not look up their account before going to bed. I'm serious. I found this profile completely by accident, and it's honestly one of the most disturbing things I've seen online. They call themselves the Siamese twins, if you will. At first, it looks innocent. Just two girls dancing to random songs, smiling, doing everyday stuff. But the longer you watch, the stranger it gets. In every new video, their height changes. Not a little, dramatically. Sometimes one looks much taller, sometimes shorter, sometimes their proportions seem off. People in the comments say they couldn't even finish watching. There's something deeply unsettling about it. Like your brain can't process what's wrong, but it knows something is. Their names are Evelina and Lola. Some claim it's all an illusion, part of a psychological experiment to make viewers feel uneasy without knowing why. Whatever it is, it works. So, would you dare to watch one of their videos all the way to the end?
This video recently went super viral online, and you'll be genuinely shocked when you see why. This girl was recording a standard talking head video when, at one point, she decided to pull a little prank on her audience. She started clicking a light switch she was holding under her desk, causing the light in her room to flicker on and off. When the room went dark, the girl would intentionally make these creepy, distorted faces. Then, when the light came back on, she'd immediately act like nothing happened. She was trying to scare her viewers and provoke them into leaving comments on the video, and she definitely got the desired reaction. However, the reason turned out to be far more terrifying. Her trick with the scary face was busted by her followers almost immediately, but that wasn't what scared them in the video at all. The comments started pouring in, saying things like, "Who's that behind your right shoulder?" And that's part of the bit, right? Confused, the girl began rewatching her video in slow motion, and she was horrified. At one point, a chillingly pale, eerie face genuinely appears right behind her shoulder in the frame. This freaked her out immensely.
Wouldn't have failed anybody, bro. She trying to pull a prank. I found out somebody was in that room with her, man. I'd be scared too. Look behind your shoulder, bro. She was playing with, I don't know, she was messing with some dark energy, man. And there's some in the conjure something, but I think that's what happened. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys give a thumbs up. Comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on all my other social medias. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.
It's the only way to escape quicksand. If you ever somehow find yourself trapped in quicksand, don't panic. Despite what you've seen in films, you're not going to get sucked under. The truth is, quicksand is denser than us, so you'll float more than you'll sink. Basically, the air in your lungs will keep your upper body above the quicksand, while your legs might get stuck. Now here's what you need to do to get out. Start with one leg and move it around a bit like you're stirring a big pot of soup. Doing this lets water seep down and break up the thick sand, making it easier to pull your leg out. Once you've got one leg out, bend forward onto the free knee. This helps spread your weight around and prevents you from sinking right back in. Now do the same stir the pot motion with your other leg. Pull it out, and there you go. You just got yourself out of quicksand.
3 ways to survive a zombie apocalypse. Number 1, get as far away from the cities as possible, being that there's going to be a ton of people around and not many corners to turn to. When being in most cities, you have high buildings. You don't want to get trapped on the roof of one of them and having to fight your way all the way down. I would suggest going towards the countryside. Number 2, make sure you have non-perishable foods. Things that are in cans. Things that can last long periods of time. Things like beans and canned chicken. Also, any kind of bottled or canned beverage will do. Preferably something that's refillable. Number 3, make sure you have a weapon that you're very comfortable with when going throughout this apocalypse. Something that doesn't make too much noise but deals a ton of damage, like a barbed wire baseball bat or a sledgehammer. Don't forget to like and follow if you want me to continue this series.
Got that from Negan, that barbed wire baseball bat.
This is the only way to survive a tsunami. So if you start to see sea levels on the shore rising, take this as a sign of a tidal wave and move further inland. Ideally, as far back as possible, so run immediately. Now, it might be tempting to run for a car, but given that traffic will likely form as a result of the chaos, that will probably be pointless. So in order to move more freely, you should continue to walk. Also, keep an eye out for stampedes and large crowds of people to avoid being crushed. When the water starts to flood the area around you and reaches you, you're in the danger zone of a tsunami, and something much worse is yet to come. So instead of continuing to run inland, you should try to get as high as possible on a solid building. In order to climb up there, try looking for a ladder, because by this time the power has most likely been cut off. The only thing left to do is to wait to see if you reached a sufficient height. And at this point, well done, you made it.
Okay, we got some tips on how to survive the zombie apocalypse, tsunami. How to get out of quicksand. We learn the things today, Seekers. Tap in with us.
This story truly infuriates me. This woman was forced to marry this man, and only a few weeks later, she was found murdered. This is about 20-year-old Rukia Hadari, who moved from Afghanistan to Australia with her family at a very young age. In 2019, Rukia was forced by her mother to marry 25-year-old Muhammad Ali only 2 weeks after her mom introduced them. Leading up to the wedding day in November, Rukia was going around telling her friends, teachers, and counselors that she did not want to go through with the wedding, but had no choice because her mom told her that she had to do it. Before their wedding day, Rukia and Muhammad had only seen each other a few times, and during the ceremony, it's clear that she does not look happy or excited at all. After the ceremony, Rukia moved across the country to live with Muhammad, leaving her friends and family behind, and things quickly took a turn. Only 6 weeks after their wedding, Rukia's life was savagely taken by Muhammad after he got upset said that she was not cooking or cleaning for him. He even took this video moments before he took her life and sent it to her family to try to embarrass her. Mohammed slit her throat with a kitchen knife, and then he called her brother to let him know what he did, and then he turned himself in. But here's the twist. Not only was Mohammed charged with murder and sentenced to life in prison, Rukia's mother was also found guilty and was the first person in Australia to be convicted of causing a person to enter into a forced marriage.
This teenager killed.
Yeah, that's an insane story, man. Like, a forced marriage where the door didn't have no say. Like, she just forced to marry a stranger. Can't even imagine that. What has this world come to?
With his mom over a bad grade. This is 15-year-old Gregory Ramos. And on November 2nd, 2018, Gregory Ramos got into a fight with his mother, Gail Clevenger. The fight started over his bad school grades, which resulted in him strangling his own mother to death. Gregory then proceeded to call 2 of his friends to help him bury her body and stage a robbery at his house. Gregory buried her body under a church fire pit and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Now, what I'm about to show you is Gregory explaining exactly how he committed the murder, and it's absolutely disturbing, because keep in mind, this was his own mother.
Whatever. Alright, I'll tell you what happened. Alright, so I got home, I got an argument with my mom, she slapped me across the face, she began to hit me, she started beating me, I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death. Alright? I put her in a wheelbarrow, I put her in my car, I took the car, I had a breakdown where I almost committed suicide 3 times. I drove around Daytona, I dropped the wheelbarrow in some random ass location, and I drove back to the church, I began to dig a hole. I dig a hole right under the fucking fire pit. I took a pretty deep hole, pretty deep, deep enough to put a bit about it in, alright? All this time my mom was decomposing body, I dragged it from my car to the fire pit. In which case, I tried to cut the wedding ring off her finger because I wanted to pawn it, but I couldn't because I didn't have a knife strong enough to cut bones. Oh well, whatever. Anyways, so I dug that hole, threw her body in there, filled it back in, made it look all nice and natural, dumped my clothes, and then I went home.
The easiest horror movies to survive. Number 1, Candyman. All you have to do is not say his name 3 times and you will survive. It might genuinely be one of the easiest movies you could survive as long as you're not dumb. Number 2, The Ring. They tell you, hey, don't watch this tape or you'll get cursed. And then you watch the tape and wonder why you're unalive. Just don't watch the tape and you'll be perfectly fine. Number 3, Chucky. Chucky is a doll. Remember that. Chucky is a doll. Yes, very smart, the intellect of a man that pretty much inhabited the doll when he was unalive. But nonetheless, it's a doll. I'm punting Chucky across the room. I'm sorry. Number 4, Pennywise. Now, me being a kid or me being an adult, I'm going nowhere near a storm drain. There's no way I'm going to the storm drain and having a conversation with someone dressed like a clown. It's just not going to work for me. It's just not something I'm going to do. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in my bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Could you survive those movies, man? Just follow simple logic. It's really easy. Especially about this part about Chucky, man. He's a doll, but you can just chuck him across the roof.
How to survive a brain-eating amoeba. This deadly creature wants to live in warm, fresh water all over the world. Step 1, hold your nose. Strangely enough, they can't infect you through your mouth, so just make sure you're wearing a nose clip when you're swimming in fresh water. And yes, that includes sketchy swimming pools. People have been infected from sketchy swimming pools.
Ooh.
Step 2, don't touch the bottom. Naegleria fowleri, its official name, likes to live in the sediment on the bottom of fresh water sources. So by disturbing this dirt and kicking it up, you're putting yourself at higher risk. Step 3, if you're experiencing things like nausea and headache after swimming in fresh water, make sure you see a doctor as soon as possible. Only 7 people have survived this brain-eating organism, and all of them required intense medical care. If you want to avoid these guys altogether, maybe just stick to swimming in salt water. Try the Bahamas. Hashtag not sponsored. And that's...
Okay.
Here are 3 ways you can survive an encounter with the Slenderman.
Talk about it.
According to legend, the Slenderman is a malicious entity with supernatural abilities, known for stalking and tormenting its human victims, seemingly without cause. The first rule you'll need to follow if you suspect that the Slenderman is nearby is to always carry a camera or cellular device with photographic capabilities with you at all times. The Slenderman can only be viewed by children or through the lens of a camera, so this will allow you to know its location, erasing any chance of a surprise attack. Secondly, you'll want to keep an eye out for warnings posted by the Slenderman's previous victims. If you ever see any, run. Finally, if you're being chased by the Slenderman, try to avoid running on foot. The Slenderman is exceptionally fast, can teleport, and has arms that can extend more than 10 feet, so it's much safer to flee in a vehicle or take cover inside. Tag a friend if you're watching this alone, and follow for more.
Okay.
This perverted woman snuck into morgue and essayed over 40 corpses. This is a disturbing case of Karen Greenlee, a necrophile who described herself as a morgue rat. So Karen actually worked as an apprentice embalmer in Sacramento, California. On December the 17th, 1979, she stole the body of a 33-year-old man. Her intentions were to essay the corpse. Now on this occasion, someone actually saw her steal the body, and therefore police were able to easily track her down. And when they found her, she was trying to unalive herself. Authorities took her to the hospital, her stomach was pumped, and her life was saved. Since she was trying to unalive herself, she had written a chilling goodbye letter. In that letter, she confessed to having slept with the corpses of over 40 men. She said that the smell of death turned her on, and she admitted it was some sort of addiction. Lucky for Karen, at the time she was arrested, necrophilia was not illegal, and so she only spent 11 days in prison, and that was for trying to steal a dead body. Since then, Karen has changed her name and moved to another city. And let's just hope she kicks that addiction. I'm Harvs, and if you want to hear more stories about real life people, hit the plus.
Who wins in a fight? Winnie?
That is one of the most strangest and weirdest addictions I've ever heard in my life. She was probably the one who made that law go into effect, man. She only spent 11 days in jail. Come on, bro. These clips, man, that we be watching, be breaking our reality, bro.
Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, or Art the Clown. Starting with Winnie the Pooh. If you guys have seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, you guys know Winnie the Pooh was standing on all kinds of business. Not only having super strength using multiple different weapons, but also having a ton of mobility and having health regeneration. If you guys have seen the movie, at the end of the movie, he is supposed to be unalived. And it cuts to a cutscene of where all of the characters except Piglet are still alive, meaning that Winnie the Pooh is more or less immortal, making this a little bit of a tougher task for Art the Clown. Now, hopping over to Art the Clown, as we know, he's a jokester. He enjoys unaliving. That's one of his favorite things. And you can tell by the movies that he genuinely enjoys it. But him not taking it seriously may be his downfall. Now, yes, I know he has a bag of tricks. He's extremely fast. He's extremely sly. And yes, he is also immortal, with the little clown girl who's able to more or less rebirth him, which we saw at the end of Terrifier 2. Of course, leading up to Terrifier 3 releasing later this year. So all in all, if it was a death match, Art the Clown versus Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, who do I think is going to win? If we're basing off of sheer strength, I'm going with Winnie the Pooh. All in all, I'm putting all of my chips on Winnie the Pooh. Now, I love Art the Clown, but all in all, I think Winnie the Pooh is packing him up. Like and follow for more, and comment down below who I should do next.
This woman was caught putting Roundup in her husband's Mountain Dew. This man from Missouri went to police after his home surveillance camera caught his wife, 47-year-old Michelle Peters, pouring Roundup, which is a chemical weed killer, into his favorite drink. He became a little suspicious in the beginning of May when he noticed that his Mountain Dew was tasting a little off. At first, he ignored the strange taste and continued to drink it, but a couple of weeks later, he began vomiting and having a sore throat. Then on June 12th, he reviewed surveillance footage in his garage where he kept his Mountain Dew in a fridge, and it shows his wife pouring the Roundup straight into the Mountain Dew bottle. Around that same time, he had told her that he was feeling sick, and all she said was that he probably had COVID and to stay away from the grandkids. Eventually, he went to police and Michelle was arrested, and at first her defense was that she mixed the Mountain Dew with the Roundup because she wanted to create this strong weed killer, and she had seen this on Pinterest. But eventually, she admitted to everything, and she said she did it because she was mad at her husband for being unappreciative after she threw him a 50th birthday party. She then expressed that she regretted it and she should have just divorced him. She was charged with first-degree domestic assault and armed criminal action.
How sleep paralysis looks like.
It's like a damn demon. Oh man, what the fuck? What the hell is that?
This is why you should never leave your
Oof.
children alone in Disneyland. Allegedly, this 4-year-old girl named Lee went missing in Disneyland in Anaheim, California on October 12th. Lee was visiting the park with her family. They were having a great time, so they decided to get something to eat together, and that's when Lee realized that she really needed to go use the restroom. Surprisingly, the mother let 4-year-old Lee go to the restroom by herself because, after all, it is Disneyland. It's safe, right?
No, it ain't.
Time started to pass by, and Lee was taking longer than usual, so the mother went to the restroom to see what was going on. When the mom entered the restroom, she saw the most unbelievable thing ever. The mother witnessed a man taking Lee to an underground tunnel, and when she tried to go grab Lee, the door completely closed and she was unable to catch her. Allegedly, the mother ran out of the bathroom crying for help and contacting the authorities. Authorities and employees of Disneyland completely checked the bathroom and they could not find anything, and they just made it seem like she was crazy and making up the whole thing. Lee's father told Disney management that they should break down each floor of the bathroom to prove that there's not a tunnel, and they told him no. Disneyland management had told authorities that these parents had lost their mind and were completely making this up. The parents also wanted to see a video surveillance of when Lee was walking to the bathroom, but apparently it wasn't working that day.
What?
There's also one instance of where a mother is in the bathroom stall and she sees a hole going through the wall, and it looked like there was an underground tunnel where they could see them. In 2006, 35 Disney employees ended up getting arrested for crimes against children, so this story does not seem too far-fetched, but I guess we will really never know.
What is the biggest difference?
What do you guys think, man? Some of these clips we've been hearing, like stories about Disney, but like news like that always stays out the major, like I guess news circuits or something like that, because Disney's ties or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they really had an underground like tunnel or something over there. They had the resources.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, in the new age slasher Art the Clown. It's this one thing. Gen slashers always hold true to this because they're not threats. But will Art the Clown see it that way? I don't know, because from what I've been told, the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most disgusting, disturbing, and shocking things we've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because Terrifier 2 was absolutely insane, especially the bedrooms. People were literally running out of the theaters and throwing up when they first saw Terrifier 2. And if the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most shocking and disturbing things we've seen from Art, what does that mean for this little person? But what's going to happen? Because from the countless set photos we've seen, Art the Clown is dressed up as Santa Claus and going to the mall. Meaning he's going to have a ton of people around him sitting on his lap and telling him what he wants for Christmas. Now, we already know what Art the Clown wants for Christmas. He wants to decorate with people. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions and tagged in this video. Do I think Art the Clown is genuinely going to pack this kid up? I don't know. I don't think Damien Leone is going to go that far, but if it's been said that this movie is going to be 10 times shocking, especially the first 5 minutes, and we've already seen the 2-minute clip where Buddy's going crazy downstairs, I really don't know if I would put it past Art the Clown for him to do this. I just kind of hope not.
Skinwalker disguising as human.
Okay, let's see it. Weird as hell.
What you're about to see is intense. What you just saw is the United States Coast Guard raiding a high-speed submarine in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, moving more than 17,000 pounds of cocaine.
Oh, what the?
On June 18th, 2019, a Coast Guard surveillance aircraft tracked and intercepted Ball up in the air, picked off! The drug-filled narco sub hundreds of miles off the Colombian-Ecuadorian coastline. The video shows a member of the Coast Guard riding on top of the speeding submarine. He then starts pounding on the hatch and demanding it to come to a stop. 3 other Coast Guard members then jump ship and board the 40-foot-long submarine. The video then continues, and you see the presumed trafficker emerging from the submarine hatch with his hands up, surrendering. And in total, 5 alleged smugglers were seized on board the vessel and were handed over for prosecution by the United States Drug Enforcement Administration.
Are these your friends, the police?
Now, just watch the full encounter unfold. It's honestly something straight out of a video game.
What's he saying?
That's gonna be hard to get on. Alto Tupaco!
Oh, he did just jump.
This mom slept with her son to make sure that he liked girls. Barbara Baekeland was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and because of her beauty, she became a model. She began to model for Vogue and was thrown into the Hollywood life. While Barbara was auditioning for roles, she got introduced to Brooks Baekeland, and they ended up sleeping together, and she thought the only way that she could secure his heart was by lying to him and saying that she was pregnant with his baby. The two ended up getting quickly married, and Barbara was working as a professional painter, and Brooks was working as a writer. The both ended up seeing other people outside of their marriage, and for the first time, Barbara was actually pregnant, and she ended up having a son in 1946, and his name is Anthony, but they weren't sure if this was actually from her husband or from another person. The two ended up getting divorced after Brooks met a girl 15 years younger than Barbara, which pushed her over the edge. In 1967, Anthony was about 20 years old, and while he was in Switzerland, he met a man named Jake Cooper, and they started a relationship together. Barbara was not very supportive of her son's relationship choices, so she decided that she was going to fix him. That is when she decided to hire girls to sleep with her son. Obviously, this did not fix anything, so Barbara decided that she was going to sleep with her son, and hopefully this was going to change him. Anthony despised his mom and was thinking of ways he could end her life. On November 17th of 1972, Anthony had stabbed his mom with a kitchen knife, and she died almost immediately. Once police arrived at the scene, he confessed to everything, and he was actually released after 7 years. Once Anthony was released, he went to go live with his grandmother, and 6 days after he was released, he ended up stabbing her 8 times and breaking a lot of her bones, but thankfully she did survive. There is a movie called Savage Grace, and it's actually based on this whole case.
What the hell? That last clip we saw together, Seekers, one of the most disgusting cases, man, we heard yet. Had to have been. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell, like the video. Also, man, follow me on my social medias down below, Seekers, so we always stay connected. Like I said, I drop videos once every single day, man, so we do daily uploads around here. Guys, can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.